Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the Quali Watchalong for the 2025 Austrian Grand Prix. How are we doing this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world? It's a hot and sticky and miserable one here in Lincoln, so Sean's in a mood. So I will say, by the way, as always, if you can hear a fan in the background, I apologise, but it's that or no live stream. I'm really that moany today about it. Hot weekend in the UK, but, we'll live. We'll get through it. Looking forward to quali. Looking at the moment, if you've not seen any practice, like a McLaren weekend. Shock. So, yeah, looking like Norris versus Piastri. Though Verstappen not a million miles away. We'll run through those times in just a moment for FP3. But let's see how you're all doing in chat. Say hello to everyone. Annette says it's bloody freezing in Australia. What's freezing in Australia, Annette? 32 or something like that. Let me know. Hope you're well, Annette. Good to see you again, as always. Hey, Jithu. Hey, CPB. My back feels like glue. Yeah. Why are they out instead of names? Howdy, Sean. You stink. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I probably do stink, actually, to be fair. I have showered today. I mean, I'm not quite sure how you could smell me over there, but there you go. Did you see the F2 sprint, says Ewan? Hey, Ewan, hope you well, mate. Yes, I did. I saw the first one, and then I saw one at the end where there's about a 4-car pile-up at turn 3, and then Sky were like, hi, we can't let you watch a replay of this because unfortunately we want to give you our crap build-up coverage that nobody really gives a damn about, contractual obligations, etc. Basically, a whole 30 minutes of poor Lando, poor Lewis. Let's try and get Verstappen a penalty. I think we can live without that. Hey to Alfie, who's going to see Linkin Park today, so we'll miss the stream. Very jealous. Are they at Glastonbury? Or is that a separate concert, Alfie? If you're still here, I have a feeling they're not at Glastonbury, are they? So, but enjoy if you are still here. Hey, have a great time. Pascal. Hey, Yori as well. Hey to Biker John as always, and to anybody else want to shout out. Surprises no, says morning from Canada. Morning to you. And Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin says yesterday it was 35 degrees in Toronto. Today a pleasant 25. Does that make you feel any better? It's 28 at the minute in Lincoln, which I know before you say it, if you live in Florida or whatever, that's not particularly gross or anything like that, but or a hot country, that's nothing. But in the UK, it's horrible and sticky and ugh, and it's supposed to be 32 tomorrow, so just be me sat here melting for 2 hours on a race watch along. So send ice. It's at Wembley apparently. Never thought I'd lower myself to Glastonbury, lol. Says Alfie. So have a good time, Alfie. Have a great time, mate. Sounds amazing. I said hey to Jithu as well. Anybody else that I missed? Is it Kaguro Shark? You know who you are. Hey to you as well. Hope you're having a good one. Adza Mohammed as well. Hope you are well. Yes, let's run through these practice 3 times then. I was a minute late because I was enthralled in the F2 and was waiting for a replay of whatever happened at turn 3, but apparently not. Lando Norris topped FP3. I think he topped FP2 as well, and Russell topped FP1. So it's all the Brits this weekend. At the minute, 104.3 this morning. Piastri just a 10th behind, just over a 10th behind in second place. Max Verstappen less than a 10th behind Piastri in third. Leclerc in fourth. Half a 10th off Verstappen. Hamilton in 5th. Russell 6th. Antonelli in 7th. Very close, actually. Not necessarily Norris to Antonelli, that's 7/10, but sort of between the drivers. There's quite a relatively small gap in there that's easily beatable. Lance Stroll having a good start to the weekend. I think he was 4th in FP1, 8th today, 9 thousandths off Antonelli. Tsunoda in 9th, and Bortoletto top 10. Liam Lawson 11th, doing exactly the same time as Bortoletto. 12th for Alonso. 13th for Nico Hulkenberg, 14th for Alex Albon, 15th for Carlos Sainz, 16th for Ollie Bearman, 17th for Pierre, 18th for Esteban Ocon, 19th for Franco Colapinto, who apparently is still going to be in the car at Silverstone. Who saw that coming? And Hadjar in 20th place on a 106.023 on the mediums though for him, apparently, according to that graphic. So maybe that's part of the reason why we're in that position for Isack Hadjar. Chucked it down yesterday. They're just showing it on Sky, so hopefully we'll get some rain at some point later in the weekend. It's not currently forecast though, so there you go. Kevin said the government should declare an emergency over there. Yeah, but not for the heat. Just generally, please. Nick says good morning from South Carolina. Hey Nick, hope you're well, mate. Go-Kart Bob says Chicken Tikka Wraps is the name of F3 drive. I have no idea. But hey, hope you're well, Go-Kart Bob. Yeah, and Colin Kennedy as well says get ready for the bottle show. I'm assuming referring to a certain driver there, but yeah, well, look. They did make the point. Harry Benjamin and co made the point in Sky Comms earlier in practice that Lando Norris has had these sessions, hasn't he? These great starts to weekends, really dominant in FP2 or a really strong FP3, really quick in the first couple of qualifying sessions, and then when it gets to Q3, it all falls apart for him. I think they said it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they said something like in Q1 and Q2 battles this year, Norris is comfortably beating Piastri, but when it comes to Q3, it's Norris who is on top. But it's sort of, you think, well, that's fine, but surely Q3 is the only one that matters. As long as, Q1 and Q2, so long as you're through to the next stage, it doesn't matter, does it? It's what you do in Q3. So maybe not. Maybe Lando needs to do that. I'm not going to start telling him what to do. He's a much better driver than I am. But maybe he just needs to leave a little bit on the table in Q1 and Q2 and then save it for Q3. I don't know, but here we are. 9:41 a.m. for Nick and 6:41 a.m. for Go-Kart Bob. So I'm guessing, so Nick, East Coast, and I'm guessing Go-Kart Bob is West Coast. That seems like obvious. I had to double check that. I know it's 5 hours back to Eastern time from the UK. So Jithy says precisely, dude is perfect in everything except the final run and first lap. I wouldn't say perfect, but I think he's getting it right in those areas, but he's not getting it right when he needs to get it right. We're not going to get into Norris too much, though. I did a video last week on him. I probably should have gone in harder on him than I did, but I just think, why add to the pile on? That's not what this channel's ever been, has it, really? I'll give you my views, but I don't feel the need to get all, screaming and shouting at a driver all the time anymore. I can't be bothered. I'm too old. Too much fuss. They're chatting to George Russell on Sky at the minute in an interview, so I'm sure that's riveting. Did Annette tell me how hot? 12.2 degrees, says Annette in Australia. Oh. I was going to say that's practically winter, but that's because it'll be winter in Australia, won't it? So that explains that one. Norris has the update card, doesn't he? Yeah, it's they tweaked his front suspension, didn't they? Or they bought an update which he really wanted to run in Canada, but Piastri didn't. So I think that kind of added to the belief that Norris wasn't feeling the front end of the car quite as well as Piastri was. So it was interesting. Yeah. I do have a confession to make today before we go any further. I have seen the film. I thought the start was really good. I enjoyed that first opening sequence. I think it ran along quite nicely. It paced quite nicely until the end, when I think it's a lot of things with modern day films is everything seems to get wrapped up really quickly at the end, and it felt like it was a bit abrupt. So I wasn't sure. I really enjoyed the whole Bloodlines storyline throughout. I thought it was really good. So for me, without doubt, the best entry into the Final Destination franchise for a while. So yeah, really enjoyed that. It was a good one. So highly recommend that one. How's the temperature in your room? 40 degrees yesterday at one point, according to my computer. So there you go. Is Ferrari back? I doubt it. You know what they're like. We can all hope, can't we? I just 4th and 5th, great stuff. Happy to see it, but don't be surprised today if we end up with Lewis Hamilton 10th and Charles Leclerc 8th and two very angry drivers tomorrow in the race. It tends to be the way it goes. Jokes aside about the film, I inevitably will watch it, but I won't watch it until it comes to, I assume it'll be Apple TV, won't it? Because it's an Apple TV production, so that'll be where it'll be streamed. But they might sell it on Sky, but I need to stop giving Sky so much of my money. Really, they get enough as it was. But no, I didn't see the F1 movie. That was my terrible joke about Final Destination, which was a good film, by the way. I highly recommend. Good to see. He'll always be Candyman to me, but good to see him in the film as well. So Ontario apparently, which is Central Time, says Nick. I don't. Yeah. Maybe I got my American times wrong there. Probably. Any questions? We've got about 15 minutes till the start of the session. So if you've got any questions to throw at me, feel free. We'll do a few Q&A minutes is the phrase I was looking for. Not got much to talk about news-wise. There's a few little stories coming out. It was good to see the FIA publish the racing guidelines that we all want to see a bit more transparency around. So it was good to see those. But I'm curious as to why it was this weekend and it didn't come out previously, but they went for it anyway. So good to see a bit of transparency there. Carlos Sainz Senior isn't going to run for FIA presidency, so we are pretty much guaranteed anyway. Mohammed Ben Sulayem for another however many years it's going to be, too many years. And that was pretty much it. Toto Wolff sort of not dismissing the Verstappen to Mercedes rumours, but Also, not confirming them. George Russell asked about his future, said that he thinks that it's basically sensible, which is what I said in my video, for Mercedes to talk to Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is one of those drivers, if he's available, you go for it. And I did see somebody in the comments of the video just before we went live say, would you really swap out, I assume, a Russell who's going to be at the team for a long time versus a Verstappen who might not be? If that driver's Max Verstappen, I swap them out immediately in a heartbeat. If Max Verstappen's available, you've got to wait and see what he does. So good to see that that George Russell understands that, but he's not daft as George Russell. That's the thing. So yeah. Will Verstappen beat Red Bull in 2026? Says Ewan. There you go. I think so. 27 onwards, maybe not, but I think, yeah. I just don't. I can't take the idea of Mercedes loaning out Antonelli or dropping Russell seriously and putting Verstappen in there. I'm not sure why, other than the fact it's Max Verstappen, plus everything seems to point to him staying where he is. But it's a long way to go this season and this year. We may only be halfway through the season next week, by the way, so still a long way to go. But I think he'll stay where he is. But I'd quite like to see him at Mercedes. And the reason I'd like to see Verstappen at Mercedes is I don't think he has anything to prove in Formula One. At all. He's a 4-time world champion. He's won tons of races, lots of pole positions, drives brilliantly. Yes, he crosses the line sometimes, but the best drivers always have been overly aggressive. And I'd rather have a grid full of Verstappen. So I think it'd be nice to see him at Mercedes, because a lot of people sort of say, you can't really define true greatness if you don't win titles and races with more than one team. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you can be an all-time great if you win 4, 5, 6 championships with one team and not win a championship anywhere else. You're still an amazing, great driver who deserves to be classed a legend. But a lot of people do use that to measure their all-time great. So it'd be nice to see him go and do it somewhere else, just to put that argument to bed and show that it's not just an Adrian Newey car. It's not just that he had the backing of Red Bull, that he can do it elsewhere. So whilst I don't agree with the argument, I think it would be nice for him to go and put that one to bed straight away. It would also be nice just to see a shake-up and give him last few years of his career. He keeps talking about retiring in the next few years. So go to Mercedes, win some stuff there, especially if they're the best team next year, and go out with a bang there. But I think he'll stay at Red Bull, and I'm fully aware that in 24 minutes time or 6 weeks time or whatever, I'll probably look a fool on that one. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to see him try something else, but I don't think he has anything to prove. He could retire tomorrow and still go down as a legend for me, but I am biased. Even though I sit here in Mercedes gear, I am biased. I know that. Build an empire. Exactly, CPV. Build an empire. He won last year, not the best car, says Matt. Exactly, Matt. And he can still win the title this year. And don't forget as well with Max Verstappen, something people easily forget. He was winning races before Red Bull was the best car on the grid. He was winning races when that car was second, third, sometimes fourth best prior to any world championship. In his early years there, he won his first race with them. I know helped by the Mercedes colliding with each other on the first lap, but he still won his first race with the team. So he's not always had the best car, yet he has always won races. So he has nothing to prove to me, and I think to most people he has nothing to prove, but there are those out there who believe that you've got to win at other teams to be classed as an all-time great. Again, for the 5th time, I totally disagree with that, but it'd be good to see him put that one to bed, I think. Fernando is going to retire, as will Lewis, says Kevin. If you asked me today, which you might do, that might be what Kevin's getting at, I don't know, it's Kevin, he could be talking constructors again, but if you asked me today, out of the two who I think is more likely to retire at the end of this year, I'd probably say Lewis Hamilton, but I don't think either will. I think both drivers will be on the grid next year. But the reason I say that is because I can't, for some reason, I just can't picture Fernando Alonso ever retiring. I can see him turning up one day, probably Alpine, when Flavio Briatore's 112 and Fernando Alonso's God knows what age that'll make him, with his walking stick and like, oh, can I get in the car, please? Because he's northern, you see. And just desperate to race all the time. So I just feel like Fernando's here. But I felt that with Kimi Raikkonen. Eventually he did retire, and Fernando will eventually. But I don't think either will retire. But Lewis has got a lot of other things going on, hasn't he, with the movie and his other interests as well. So he could go away tomorrow and have a very busy lifestyle post Formula One. I'm not saying Fernando wouldn't, but he's got plenty to focus on. So But neither will retire. They'll both want to give 2026 a go, because you don't want to be the driver of Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton who retires because they're not confident about the car, and then next year Ferrari or Aston Martin are the dominant force because you've just potentially locked yourself out of a world championship. So I don't see why you would. Maybe at the end of 26, if that Ferrari's terrible, Hamilton might go, I can't do this anymore, or Fernando might say, well, this car's awful, I can't do this either. But I think they'll both give next year a go. I think most drivers, I don't think many drivers will want to leave at the end of this season. Looking at the grid, I think they'll all want to give next year a go in the hope their team make a Brawn or a Red Bull style leap like 2009. But let's wait and see what happens. It's going to be quite a dull driver transfer window, let's call it, silly season. And if Verstappen turns around tomorrow morning and says, I'm staying at Red Bull for the rest of my contract, then that's the end of that, because Russell will stay where he is and that'll be done. Nobody shifts. The only racing bulls we don't know. We don't know about the second Red Bull seat if Verstappen does stay anyway. Will it be Tsunoda? Will they go for somebody else? I saw somebody was it on Reddit talking about, I went on Reddit, I know, finally, to maybe Hulkenberg as an option at Red Bull as for some experience. I don't know, but Racing Bulls, Red Bull, those seats we're not sure on, and we're not sure on what's going to happen at Alpine. But other than that, if Verstappen and Russell lock in, that's it. So not very excited by this one. So I'm not reading that. Let's see what you're saying. We are 8 minutes away from the start of the session, 3 minutes from the music kicking in. So yeah, I think Red Bull have made a mistake in getting rid of Sergio Perez, says Ewan. He certainly thinks so, doesn't he? Thinks people might regret that one. Colin says, thoughts on people saying Lando might retire if he doesn't win this year? Lando Norris, as opposed to who, Sean? Lando Calrissian. Really? Is that, Colin, is that a genuine rumour? Or is that just people being stupid on Twitter? Or Twitex, or whatever it's called? I mean, no. Not a chance. Hey, Clansom, hope you well, mate. Absolutely no way. No. Do you think Alpine should be renamed to Apex GP for PR and marketing purposes to CPB? They should just sell the team to somebody who actually wants to be in F1. I don't take Renault seriously. The sports car brand, and they're going to get a Mercedes engine next year. They're clearly not a works team anymore. They're not that arsed about it. So sell it to somebody who might be. But please keep it at Enstone. I love the Enstone teams. Colin says, I've heard musings. Musings is a good word, but it is quite stupid. I mean, it's not stupid. Stranger things have happened in Formula One, but there's no. If Lando loses a title this year, he might look to switch teams at some point for next year. Or the year after, but I don't see him retiring from Formula One altogether. I mean, I think he's like, is he 23, 24? I still see him as about 18, but I think he is a little bit older than that now, so he's got plenty of years left in F1, so I'd be very surprised, Colin. But again, stranger things have happened in Formula One. Maybe some people won't see it as strange, but Nico Rosberg signed a new deal with Mercedes in 2016, then retired at the end of the year, so Michael Schumacher came back to Mercedes. That was quite a surprise at the time, although the rumours have been around for a while that he wanted to come back after Massa's accident, didn't he? So maybe not that much of a shock, but we've seen surprises over the years. I didn't think Fernando Alonso would come back. I thought when he left, he looked so done with the sport when he left after his time at McLaren that I thought that was it. When he said he was taking a bit of time out, I didn't think he'd come back, and then he did, and he was a completely different guy again. But yeah. Fernando to Alpine is certainly more likely than Norris retiring. There you go. Although Russell to Alpine, by the way, I don't think that'd be a bad place to be if they could actually maybe... Because I moan about Renault. They'll come back eventually. They'll be back eventually. They do this all the time. Honda do it as well. They'll disappear in a few years, then come back again when they get their own way, because they don't like doing this in the sport, so we're going to go and do something else. But then they all always come back. They always come back. Andrew says, come on, Williams. Hope for top 10 qualifying positions for Albon and Sainz. That'd be good to see. Where were they this morning, Andrew? 14th and 15th for Albon and Sainz, but not far off the top 10. What's that? A 10th? What, a 10th and a half? So it's definitely doable. Obviously, practice is one thing. Racing is another. A qualifying is another. So, the only thing keeping Renault owning that team is knowing they will never own a team again if they sell. No way the Renault board agree a £1 billion purchase. That's a very good point, Maury. A £1 billion purchase of a team, yeah. Especially the way F1 is at the moment. There's always been a lot of money in F1, but commercially, it's a hugely attractive prospect right now. Sonic the Hedgehog's back, for goodness sake, on a McLaren, believe it or not. Ron Dennis would be, I bet he's seething at the idea of Sonic being associated with McLaren. So we've just had a movie out. These cars, whilst it's great to see sponsors back, are starting to look like shopping lists almost, aren't they? There's that many sponsors on them, so commercially it's hugely valuable right now to be part of F1. So I agree, it's a great point. Why would you sell the team knowing that it costs you a fortune to buy it back again if you wanted to? So suck it up, I guess. Take the Mercedes engines, rename the team Malpine, or yeah, that's the best I could come up with, Malpine for some reason, but there you go. It's best I could do. Music has kicked in. We've got Harry Benjamin this weekend, so I could probably actually turn my volume up a little bit on my headphones so I can actually hear it a bit better, because he doesn't scream at me at every opportunity like Crofty does. If you're wondering why Crofty's not here, he's absolutely fine. He takes, is it 3 races off a year? So I'm hoping it's Harry Benjamin and Anthony Davidson again, because I think Anthony Davidson is great on comms. So let's get everything set up then. As always, you know what's coming. No on-track footage for pretty obvious copyright reasons, but we do get the lifetime provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Thank you so much to those guys for allowing us to use the amazing data, etc., that they've got access to. So please do give them a go, download their app. It is in the link in the description. It is free to download the app, but you do need some sort of F1 TV subscription to use the data. So F1 TV access, for example, in the UK is £2.29 a month. That gives you access to the F1 TV archive as well as all the timing, which is what allows you to use F1 Multiviewer. So definitely go and check them out. They're fantastic, and it's great stuff. Great, even if you're just watching at home, you don't need a watch along. You're not doing a watch along. It's great to have it on in the background just to keep an eye on what's going on with your favorite driver. If your favorite driver, for example, is Gabriel Bortoletto, and he's often sort of towards the back end of the grid, you can keep an eye on what he's up to on the timing and things. So definitely check them out. They're brilliant. But yeah, ready for this, methinks. P1 live stream is effed up, so I'm here now. Effed up in what way? Eurovision fan. First of all, great name, Eurovision fan. Absolutely, you are now my new favourite person today. Love Eurovision. Martin Osterdahl stepping down, if you wanted to know. Most people going, what the hell is a Martin Osterdahl? But there you go. Europeans, we are great. But yeah, I don't know what you mean. Has it gone down, or is there a problem with it? I don't know. I haven't watched Matt and Tommy for ages, actually, or spoken to Tommy for a while. So yeah, not sure. Let me know. But yeah, let's do some predictions then. I'll leave the poll open until the end of Q2. Let me know, or remind me to stop that before we get into Q3, because usually it gets skewed a little bit when Sean forgets and switches it off with a minute to go. So at the moment, which team is taking poll? 63% McLaren, 22 Red Bull, 11 Ferrari, and 5% Mercedes. I was saying something, wasn't I? And I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, so yeah, predictions. What's your top 3? I went with Piastri for pole on Thursday. I will stick with that, because that's what I'll be scored on in the prediction challengey thing that I do for myself every week on previews. So I would have to say I'll stick with Piastri. I think Verstappen's in the mix. He also loves this track. He's been on pole the last 5 years, or the last 5 race weekends at this circuit, so it could do it. He can hook a lap up quite easily, Max Verstappen, can't he, out of nowhere, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll stick with Piastri, because that's what I picked on Thursday. But it's looking good for Lando Norris. But let's see if we can string it all together for the whole session before we start worrying about whether or not he is going to get going. We are having a 5-minute delay, by the way, to qualifying. That'll be because of all the chaos in F2. They'll be cleaning up the track from that, and there's quite a lot of fluid and all sorts down at up at turn 3 on the track. So they'll be sorting that one out, is why we've got a little delay here. So starts at 3:05 UK time, 4:05 track time. So that's 10:05 Eastern time, I think. If that's right, that's impressive. I've just done 10 minus 5 and nailed it. Or 15 minus 5 made more sense. Shut up, Sean. Let's see what you're saying. A car with wheels will have pole. It says Moray. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I think you might be right there. Edits Brunette says, guys, you won't even be seeing the track footage here. No, you won't. Copyright law prevents that, and I'm not having the channel deleted because I take that risk. There's plenty of channels out on Twitch taking that gamble that I'm not willing to take. So 8 years this channel's been going, by the way, if you missed that in the preview. 8 years on Thursday. So it's not been taken down yet. I'm not going to do it by showing footage because, yeah, it is just the data, as you can see there. Not worth the risk. Sticklebrick says Piastri pole, Verstappen second, and Lando third. Mads says, just checked the points. Williams has 2 more points this season than the last 3 combined. I think someone said something similar the other week. Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers, isn't it? It really is. Norris for pole, says Michael. Lance for third, says Kevin. He's on the Lance hype train this weekend again. Can't look past Norris for pole today, says Fud. Max second and Russell third. Oscar, Verstappen, Russell, and Norris, says Colin. Bortoletto gets a point, says Clansom. Yep. I hope so. I'd like to get a point. Piastri, Stroll, and Tsunoda. Not, says CJT. Where else are we? Talk of Ferrari. We'll come back to those later, CPB. Remind me. At me later with that one. 5 past midnight for the East Coast, Australia. Oh. See, I don't go to sleep till about 2 a.m, so that's about right for me. That's when I'm laid in bed watching YouTube or reruns of the Royal Family. Yeah. Who won the F2, says Moray? Was it Pepe Marti? I think. Do you know, it was about half an hour ago and I've forgotten. Terrible, isn't it? Piastri, Max, and Charles, says Andrew. And I'm cheering for the underdog, Sean, no matter how annoying he is. There we go. Can we have a reaction to the Halo rant for the 8th year anniversary? I was thinking about going back on a live stream. Maybe a community one, and having a look back at some old videos, because there's a couple I'd like to go back to. The Why is Lewis Hamilton So Hated video that still riles people up today. Again, I've said this so many times. It's my favourite comment section. Not so much, because some of the stuff in there is disgusting, but there are also some, it's really funny seeing a comment that says nobody hates Lewis Hamilton, this is clickbait, and then directly underneath it a comment from somebody else detailing exactly why they hate Lewis Hamilton. And I'm sort of like, well, there you go then, shut up. It's always quite funny. It was Marty, yeah. Pascal says Sauber Q3, Norris, Verstappen and Piastri for the top 3, and Radicha, I hope I got that right, it says McLaren 1-2, and yeah, we'll do some more driver market chat a little bit later. Yeah, Nick says who hates Hamilton, or his fans on the other hand. That's my view. I don't have a problem with Lewis Hamilton. I have a problem with a specific corner of his fans. It's not even all his fans. I've said this before as well. But you go in that comment section, there are plenty of people that are detailing why they hate him. So there are people that hate him, unfortunately. But I don't see the need. One, I don't know the guy. It's very difficult to hate somebody you don't know. And 2, I just find him generally very inoffensive. I was going to say something there, but I don't really want to sound really harsh, but yeah, that'll do. Strongly dislike, says Kevin, not hate. Wow. I'll give you all the login details. You can go check the health review comments and you tell me what you think about what people think about Lewis Hamilton. Oh Jesus, yeah, don't ever go in that. I'd never go in that ever anymore. It's just not worth it. McLaren want to have read that one. I think we've done all the predictions in there, but we are really waiting to get going. We're a minute away from the start of this. It is slightly delayed because of all the F2 chaos, as I say. So, yes. I have no idea what that is, Clansom. I have no idea. I can't even read that word. Bernie Collins is the Sky Race control. I think Ted's in the pit lane. Pit exit is open. We are go for Q1 then. Here we go. Here we go. Fernando Alonso. Is that Fernando heading straight out, I believe? Those should be out pretty quickly here. Traffic is going to be a big issue today. It always is around places like Austria. So it's, yeah. The main reason I hate Lewis is he has more money than I do, says Fud, but that's a joke. I neither hate or love Lewis. I respect his racing skill. Yeah, I hate anyone who's got more money than me. Yeah. Oh, damn rich people. That's why I never talk to my parents. I'm joking. I talked to them last week. It's fine. Well, it's Saturday. Last week seemed a long time ago to talk to your parents. If, yeah, maybe I should give them a call at some point soon. Got their dog for a week soon now, so I'll see them then. That'll be fun. 2 dogs on a live stream. Yeah, it is Alonso out of track. Stroll as well and Albon too. Sainz, Ocon and Bearman just leaving the pits as well. So we'll wait for these first laps on the board. I expect everyone on softs today. But Max Verstappen only had 5 sets of soft tyres going into FP3. So he might run a medium, or we might see him put a banker in on a used set first. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, traffic today is going to be a nightmare, particularly through that sort of 8-9 area as they're starting to back up for to get a gap for their lap. So hopefully we see more of that happening in the pits rather than down at turn 9, because that's always, I mean, that pit entry there is a bloody nightmare anyway, isn't it? So Stickerbrick says, damn him for using his life skills to set himself up for life. I know, right? It's disgusting. Damn him for earning the money by doing what he's good at and working hard to get there. The swine. That's kind of, but you say that, there are people in the world that have that attitude. How dare you be rich having worked hard to do so? Like, shut up. Here goes Lance Stroll then. We're not going to get into all the political stuff because we'll be here all day, because I will go off on one of those moods this week for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because I caught 10 minutes of question time and now I hate everybody. That's probably why. It was by accident, by the way. I wouldn't watch that crap otherwise. But here is Lance Stroll then, the man who's going to be top 3 according to Kevin. So let's see. He was 4th yesterday morning. He was 8th this morning in practice. So he's got some pace. A little bit of a swapper on the exit at turn 4. Which is really turn 3. Let's not get into corners at Austria because there are some that just are clearly not corners. Turn 2, for example, is just not a corner. It's green in the middle sector. Purple at the moment in the middle is Albon. So nice trading blows there. But I don't think these guys will be fighting for pole today. Disney Times F1 coming 2026 if you cared. That's all over the billboards there. Sure. Out the final corner, Lance Stroll over the line. It is a 1:06.0, half a tenth slower than Albon, who's currently fastest on a 1:06.015. Carlos Sainz is next to come round and do a lap. These laps, obviously, early days in the session don't really matter, do they? Just about getting the bankers on the board now. It's later in the session we get all excited and can start screaming and shouting and everything. So let's hope everyone gets the laps in today. No problems. Don't want any red flags or anything today, ideally. We'll see how we go, though. You never know. As Ocon goes fastest, 1:05.745, nearly 3 tenths quicker than Albon in second place. Full says someone is 100% going to bin it in Q1 or Q2. Possibly. So look at Rio Hirakawa there, down at Haas. Watched Aidan Millwood vid, had Hamilton in Lululemon at start and Norris end doing loop earbuds. I can't say I've seen it, Clancy, honestly. It sounds Lulu. Is that a drink? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I will actively look out for it though on YouTube. I have got premium, so I tend to miss ads, but I will go and do some googling and see if I can find what that is before tomorrow's stream. So I know what you're talking about, Concept. It's terrible or it's brilliant. As the McLarens leave the pits. Anyone trying anything like a medium? It's not the same as a couple of weeks ago. We had the softest compound, so it's unlikely we'll see the mediums today, but you never know. Is it a sports brand? A sports brand. Interesting. Thoughts on the film Sinners, says CP. Is that Cinema Sins? I watched Cinema Sins. No, I didn't censor crap. I say a lot worse than crap. I don't know why I censor that. Yeah, I've said much worse than that on these streams. Oh, I thought you meant like Cinema Sins. No. I thought it was like a channel, but no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Hulkenberg currently fastest. Pascal, calm down. Bortoletto goes third. 105.6 for Hulkenberg. 105.7 for Gabriel Bortoletto. Here comes Max Verstappen in that lovely... it's like a navy, isn't it? An orange, or a really dark blue and orange crash helmet. Looks great. May have to order one of those. I was going to say, Edits Brunette, I've said a lot worse than crap. I don't know if anyone did censor it, but yeah. Yeah. I've said worse, definitely. Yeah, sometimes YouTube does delete them if they consider it a swear word, but I think you should be okay with crap. Should. Verstappen purple in the first sector, not a massive shock. 16.3, 4/10 quicker-ish than Nico Hulkenberg. A little bit wide through 4, a bit twitchy as well on the entry, but all good through this lovely little sequence of corners. Through 6, and then it'll be 7 and 8, surprisingly, I know. 7 and 8 follow 6. Into the final couple of corners, 9 and 10. Cars getting out of the way nicely there. We're watching in picture as well, Norris, just behind Verstappen, who's currently going quicker, but yeah. Good first sector for Verstappen, does a 105.106. Norris, purple in the middle, may beat that here. It does a 104.672, just by a tad. Wow, yeah. Piastri's backed off his lap, I think. He was really about 12 seconds down the middle sector, so don't know what's going on there for Oscar Piastri. Have to wait and see. But Norris, yeah, very quick lap there on a 104.6. Watching him, that's going to be kicking up some gravel. And that's kicking up gravel as well. That's Piastri, sorry, in the exit of 4. That's why he backed out of it. Yeah, a couple did climb some, actually. Did Hadjar do a nice pirouette at the final corner as well? Colin says, why do people glaze Lando so hard despite all his mistakes and act like Piastri doesn't even exist? The cope is so hard. Watch my video from the other day questioning whether Norris had a silver lining. I go on a phase in that a little bit later in the video where I don't understand why. It feels like, from what I consume media-wise, nobody talks about Piastri, but if that was Norris top of the championship or Verstappen or Hamilton, everyone would be waxing lyrical about how incredible they are, yet no one's saying a word about Piastri. A lot of people then came back and said, people are always talking about Piastri, but what I'm seeing is that hardly. He's always seems to be an afterthought. Sort of as Antonelli comes through the final corner nicely through there, goes 4th. It's sort of Norris, Hamilton. Can we get Verstappen a race ban? Verstappen. Oh yeah, and Piastri was there, by the way. That's how it feels sometimes. So Norris fastest 104.6. Verstappen 4/10 back in second. Hamilton up in third. 9 thousandths of Max Verstappen at this stage of the session. Antonelli in 4th. Hadjar up in 5th. Good stuff there. Leclerc in 6th place. 7th for Russell. 8th for Tsunoda. 9th for Lawson. And 10th for Hulkenberg. In the drop zone at the moment, got Gasly, Bearman, Piastri, Alonso and Colapinto. Alonso and Colapinto yet to set a time. And as I say, that Alonso crosses the line on a 105.8 for 14th. Piastri, yeah, down in 19th. So that will be lap time deleted for going off track, I'd imagine. But he lost his time anyway there. He was not quick, was he? So what's Alonso done? Is this going to be similar? It's like, yeah, similar. Oh, big slide on the exit there. Caught the gravel. Is that rear wheel dipping into the... That's why I love this track. Just one minor mistake. Slightly too wide and you're punished for it. And that's exactly how it should be. Not these 25-mile runoff areas that you could drive down, park in and go do your shopping. We don't want that. We don't want car parks. Let's have some gravel strips. Let's just have a good balance here at Austria, though, I think. Of gravel strips, gravel traps, and then tarmac runoff. I think they kind of work. Oh, yeah, sticker brick. I'm sure Oscar couldn't care less. At the end of the day, if people aren't talking about him and leaving him alone, he's doing the right thing, isn't he? And people can sort of sleep on him if they want, and then at the end of the year, if he lifts that championship trophy, then we could all of us here could say, well, we talked about how cool he was. Yeah, we talked about how good he was and what he was doing, but just because nobody else did, you know, he won't care. It's what happens at the end of the season, not all this chat in the middle. Like I say, if he's not been talked about, it's because he's doing something right as he goes second on a 105.004 there. Yeah, there's that as well, Lou, but there's also Well, it's kind of exactly the point you're making, actually. But Oscar Piastri doesn't perform well when it comes to clicks on stories. You can theorize if you like as to how I now know that, but I do know that. But I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to focus on who's going to get me the clicks. I'll focus on who deserves to be talked about and who doesn't. So I will talk about Piastri, whether he gets me the clicks or not. I don't care. He's a championship contender. Let's treat him as such. So what we got? So everyone's got a time on the board, so that's good. Sainz is currently last on a 105.8. Colapinto did jump up into 12th. Gasly up to 6th, so that's good stuff there. So Alpine, I think, got some pace at this stage of qualified, but very early days. And it's close again. 1.2 seconds covers a field. If you remove Lando's time, he's 3/10 clear at the moment at the front. That's what, 9/10 covering the entire field. So this is close. And it's tiny gaps again. I mean, Sainz in 20th is 8 thousandths off Alonso, who's 300ths off Bearman, who's half a tenth off Albon, who's 300ths off Bortoleto, who's 25 thousandths off Stroll, who's 11 thousandths off Ocon, who's what, half a tenth off Hulkenberg. So it's close in there. You could easily, I don't know what the cutoff is going to be. I've not seen it pop up yet, but anybody, in fact, most people need to go again, I would say. Track evolution shouldn't be too high because we've had a lot of F2 and F3, but there's always an element of track evolution, isn't there? So Bortoleto's just gone 5th fastest. That exactly what I said. So pretty much everybody is going to need to go again. So we've got 5 minutes and nearly 5.5 minutes left. This is going to be a bit of a chaotic final sprint, I think. So yeah. Yeah, it has, Mad. Q1 has been very close in general this year. In fact, I think qualifying full stop has been quite close. And I think that's why we get so many surprises now. And why somebody like, no shade on Perez, but in 2023 in particular, he could get away with being a little bit slower than Verstappen and struggling, and he'd still be in a really good position. He finished second in the standings that year, didn't he? Was that 23? I think it was. So, whereas now, because the gaps are so small, a couple of tenths can be the difference between 2nd and 10th. So a driver like Tsunoda who might be struggling can't afford to be those extra couple of tenths off, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Albon's on one here. Sainz goes 14th, but Albon's gone purple in the middle section on 28.7. Here he comes out the final corner. Alexander Albon goes up into 5th place. So I would say Hamilton down. Well, if Hamilton needs to go, then Verstappen does. But certainly Hamilton down. Maybe Albon down now. 5th place down need to go. But I said everybody out. There you go. Altitude, an issue. It's there's turbo, isn't there? There's turbo power now. So it's less of an issue than it would have been with normally aspirated engines. But it's not the same. There will be an element of that, but not to the extent of, say, Mexico, for example. So, yeah. If we ever return to those engines, then it will matter. But, yeah. You calling me mad just clicked. I changed my display name a few races back, but it hasn't changed it back. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I say what do you want me to call you? But one, that sounds a bit creepy. And and two, I'd forget in about 10 minutes and I'd just call you Steve. So, yeah, there you go. It is quite the gap, Norris to Piastri. So everyone is on track. But I think everyone's going to come in now and then change tyres and whatnot. Although the McLarens are on out laps at the moment. So are we looking at 2 runs here? Because it's, as you can see from the time, it's only 64 seconds, 65 seconds to get round. So Norris is going for a lap though. Verstappen and Tsunoda just exiting the pit lane as well. I'm watching an F1 TV and it seems your broadcast is about 30 seconds ahead of mine, maybe because it's through the app and not live TV. Yeah, it's the same on Sky Go and Now. It's about a minute behind the live Sky broadcast. I think somebody has explained it to me and I don't understand it. It's something to do with compression and upload speed. I honestly don't understand it, but that's why when you stream, it's a little bit further behind than say on TV. But even the live TV is a good 3 or 4 seconds behind the actual live timing. So there's a delay wherever you watch, I think. But yeah, it hasn't worked, Mad. No, I'll call you Steve. It hasn't worked, Steve. No, I don't know why. Ocon's not improving here. He's 17th and he's yellow in the first sector, 16.6. So he's not far off those ahead, but it's not great. Lawson's going nicely here, improving both of his first 2 sectors. Norris gone purple in the middle sector. Ocon is now green, so he's just up. 200 up on a time to get through. But Haas here not appearing to have particularly epic speed at this point. On that subject, I just realised the Haas t-shirt is behind me that I was going to wear today, and I went with the Adidas one instead, the Mercedes one, so I'll pop that down there for now. I don't know how I just realised that, but there you go. Yeah, I'm in Austria watching live. In fact, if I'm just, yeah, this is all live. That behind me, that's all green screen. I took a photo of my room before I left. It's all green screen. Yeah. There, I can see him out the window there. Hi, Fernando. Yeah, just going past there. I'm up at turn 4, clearly. There you go. Fernando is coming through turn 6 now. Car's getting nice out of the way. Not seen too much in the way of problems with traffic. Alonso's on one, though. Nearly 3 tenths up on Colapinto, which is the time he needs to get through. Bearman goes 8th. So scratch what I said about Haas not having a pace. That's a good lap there. Fernando coming through the final couple of corners now. He's going to get through, provided he doesn't make a big mistake on this straight, which would be a bit of a surprise. And goes 8th fastest. Matches Leclerc's time exactly at 1:05.197. Leclerc not improving either at the moment, by the way. 45 seconds to go. Hulkenberg last, proving in the first sector, not in the middle sector. Bortoletto still up in 10th place, by the way, as over the line goes George Russell. George Russell only 15th. He's just starting a lap now? I hope he is. Otherwise, he's in trouble. No, he is just starting his lap. That's okay. Tsunoda's in trouble as well. In fact, Tsunoda's out, surely. Where is he on the track? Yeah, he was just letting Russell through. So Tsunoda's out. He's not going to get a chance to go again now. So we've lost Tsunoda. Will he drop any further below that? Gasly goes 4th. Lawson's up in 3rd. How did I miss that one? Too busy watching Yuki Tsunoda there. But yeah, Lawson up in 3rd. Gasly 4th. Colapinto goes 12th. Antonelli purple in the first sector. He's improving. Russell needs his lap too. He's improving as well. So should be good here for him, provided he doesn't bin it. This is Russell now coming through. It's a 45.2 as Hadjar goes 5th. This is ramping up. Oh, and Russell's 4 tenths down on Norris. Should be okay. He's not improving. 4 tenths will still put him top 9. But he is on the brink here, George Russell. He might... Well, I'm not going to say anything because I've already jinxed him now. He's wide out the final corner, but got it okay. Over the line he goes. Russell does sneak through into 11th place on a 1:05.1. Carlos Sainz is not improving in the middle sector. He was in the first sector. Colapinto down the ball. Kevin, Lance Stroll's out, mate. You've ruined his day. And Colapinto doesn't improve. Sainz does improve, stays 19th. So, if that's everybody done, I think it is. We've lost Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, and Nico Hulkenberg. Ocon, by the way, a couple of places behind his teammate there. So, there we go. There we go. Lawson 3rd, Gasly 4th, and Hadjar 5th. The surprise of the session there. Bit of tension at the end for Russell. I think the commentary were getting a little bit too overexcited by that. It was 4 tenths down on Norris, but that was still top 10 at that point. So, but Tsunoda, so they didn't have any front end grip. Well, actually, he says I don't have any front end grip, bro, is what he said. So there you go. Yeah, great stuff for Colapinto, by the way. 2nd week in a row is that he's got out of Q1, so good stuff. It would be nice to see him get some points this weekend. Well, it'd be nice to see everyone who hasn't got any points get some points this weekend. Bortoletto 8th. Lawson, has Lawson scored yet this season? That's a good question. Yes, on my phone. Whenever I check my phone on stream, I feel like I'm at school and I'm going to get told off by somebody. I've not been at school for 23 years, but I still, yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. Leave me alone. Who hasn't scored? So, well, do and won't, will he? But yeah, Lawson's got 4 points. So it's just Bortoletto and Colapinto. Be nice to see them score this weekend. So, also, as I said earlier, he will be in the car for Silverstone. despite the insistence initially from Alpine that it would only be 5 races in a review, Colapinto was always going to be in that car for the rest of the season. I was pretty sure of that. I think they're sweeping gravel at the final corner, hence the yellow flag, or at least certainly to the summer break. Yeah, I think they're cleaning up gravel. 9 and 10, that's why it's gone yellow there. Good to see Lawson finally doing well after being promoted back to Racing Bulls. Fine, there you go, Mad. There's my phone. You can have it. There's nothing on it. Nothing interesting. It's basically my phone is just photos of the dog and screenshots of F1 stuff that I need to try and remember for streams and videos when I spot them. That's it. That's my life. The dog and Formula One, and obviously you guys, of course. Occasionally, I spend some time with my partner as well. Just every now and again, you know, when I can be bothered. When RB out qualify the Red Bull, says Addy Boy. It could happen. It could happen. Both of them ahead in this session. So let's see what happens in Q2 and 3. I suspect Verstappen will have a bit more to give in the final session in Q3. I thought my sound had gone off, but it's an advert. Sorry. Sainz hasn't got the... I'm going to guess I'd say the best of that car so far or something like that. But yeah, bit of a shame to see Sainz down there. But sort of a, yeah. Just while we're in the gap, thank you very much to Brian Masterson for subscribing. Just spotted you there on the stream. Please do sub if you are new. Lots to come this season. We're live again tomorrow. There will be a video from Thomas on Monday, I think. More on that in a bit because I need to just clarify something with you all. And then... obviously build up to the Silverstone, the British Grand Prix with qualifying race watch-ons next weekend as well, the preview on Thursday. So please do subscribe if you're new and drop a like as well. 442 of you here, 39 likes. Let's see if we get that over 100. It's always nice to hit the triple figures when it comes to the likes. It's not doesn't make me any money or anybody any money really. It just helps the channel in the algorithm, which is a pain in the backside. It's free to do, it's easy to do, so just drop a quick like and sub. That'd be massively appreciated. We lost quite a few subs this month for varying reasons. I think probably because I said something that wasn't mainstream and everyone got a bit upset with me because, you know, a lot of people say they don't like mainstream media and like individual opinions, and then when you give something that isn't mainstream opinion, you're criticised for it heavily. So I lost quite a few subs on that Norris video, for example, so please do drop a like and sub. Would always be appreciated. 8 years we've been doing this. That deserves a like, if nothing else. The fact I've survived 8 years, that one of you lynching me, it's incredible. Especially when you consider some of the content in the early days when I was just shouting all the time at everybody and everything. Yeah. What are the chances of doing at Cadillac, says Drone Shot Pro? I'd be surprised. I think that's looking like Perez and Bottas. Although I did see... Who did I see? It was... I'm looking through the grid now. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember now. I'll still remember later, but there was a suggestion that a current driver in the grid might end up at Cadillac, and I can't remember who it was. Leave it with me. I'll try to remember. I did think about maybe... you could loan Antonelli there if you wanted to put Verstappen and Russell together, but could Toto's heart take another Hamilton-Rosberg situation at Mercedes? Can he cope with that? I'm not sure, but I also don't know why you put Antonelli in your main team, back him so much, and then loan him out somewhere else. And I can't imagine many teams would want to develop a potential Mercedes superstar of the future. That's not what you do for your rivals generally, is it? So, but then again, you know, Russell went to Williams and others have been loaned out, so maybe you do. I don't know, but yeah. Thanks for the reminder, says Mad or Steve. I'll call you Steve if you like, Mad. It's fine. I think Max earned a promotion to RB, says the Nets. I think Candy will get Bottas or Perez and an American driver, says Kevin. Fans are so thin-skinned these days. Yeah. They'll likely want an experienced driver to give them good feedback as someone who can bring some money to the team, whether a Perez with his sponsors or a pay driver. See, Perez with his sponsors brings experience and money. Bottas brings experience, and although he's maybe not got the sponsorship backing that Perez has, he does bring the Finnish audience and apparently now the Australian audience. So, you know, he could be an option as well. But so could Zhou Guanyu with the Chinese market as well. So they're lost. You can't have proper debate if you're going to get offended at opposing views. Exactly. That's the world we live in now, Stickle Brick, I'm afraid, though. I tell you what, on these streams, just while I wait for this to get going, we've had some, not us specifically, Stickle Brick, but with others in the chat, we've had bordering on fallings out in the past, and we still chat and we still get on. It's part, you can debate, you can have conversations, you can have heated conversations. It doesn't matter. People are going to have opposing views. If you can't handle it, Grow up. And that's not just about YouTube, that's about the world. There you go. You're not always going to get your own way, I'm afraid. I know that's the world we live in, but there we go. Anyway, Q2 is underway. Before I said I wasn't going to do it, I'm not going to do it. I have reasons, I'm not getting into it. Here we go. So we've got the Ferraris out on track here. Probably enjoying just running 1 and 2 for a change at the moment. So there you go. Calling me Steve just reminds me of a Michael Keating movie called Multiplicity. Never seen it, Mad, but it can go on the list. There's you all recommend movies to me all the time, and I try and remember them as best I can. So I didn't ban you, Clansome. I definitely didn't. But I did appreciate you coming to me after you've been banned and saying what's happened. And when I chased it up, nobody had an answer for me. So that was during the days when we had... I won't say that either. When we had some rather heavy-handed mods. The mods now are a lot more forgiving and a bit more reasonable. So, yeah, I definitely did ban you, Clansome. I can't see any reason why I'd need to. Kevin, on the other hand, is pushing it. He brought it up in the preview comments. Here goes Charles Leclerc to start his lap. His first one in Q2 to do it. I've only got 3 cars on track at the moment. Hamilton as well, and Alex Albon out there too. So yeah, looking quiet at the moment, but maybe limited on tyres. They are soft tyres, by the way, on the 2 Ferraris and on Alex Albon's car, as far as I've seen. I'm not sure why it's not showing up on the timing, but they are soft tyres, and I can see that they are on Leclerc as he goes past there. Lewis Hamilton purple in the first sector, by the way, beating his teammate at the moment. Yeah, even then, I'm not sure. CJT print, it depends on the reasons. It depends on the reasons. I'm joking. Here comes Leclerc then, through turn 9 and 10. He's going to get his lap in. There's not a lot to really talk about. They're just getting their first banker laps in. It's a 1:05.4. Nick says, I'm sure I'll get banned one day. I hold back my controversial opinions all the time. Definitely need to hold back your controversial opinions, Nick. As long as they're not abusive, it's not, you've got some very strong opinions and we've had many a debate. And I think we've had heated conversations before, Nick, but you're still here, mate. So I think that tells you all you need to know. I'm not going to go banning you for a different opinion. As long as it's not abusive or anything like that, then that's fine. Next comment, Sean's a twat. Thanks, Nick. Banned. Yeah, everyone's slightly garaged at the moment. So we've got 3 laps on the board. Leclerc 1:05.4 was on a soft tyre, used soft tyre. 1:05.6 for Hamilton, used soft tyre. 1:06 flat for Albon, used soft tyre. So there you go. There you go. Clancy's gone to walk the dog. See you later, Clancy. Have a good one. Hope have a good walk. Controversial opinions are fine as long as folks don't shove them down people's throats, says Fudd. Absolutely. And that's every opinion as well. Same with stuff like, we're not getting into it, but same with stuff like religion. Don't all have to believe the same thing, but you also don't have to ram it down people's throats. So there you go. Anyway, Formula One. Let's stick to that. There are no controversial opinions when it comes to Formula One. That's just a lie, isn't it? It's just an outright lie. There you go. No, Nick, I get what you're saying, Nick. There are things that I won't say on that sort of thing, but when I'm watching when I've got watching F1 or whatever, and I'm not streaming, there are things that I say that would be very, very unpopular. Let's put it that way. But yeah, seeing it again today, yeah. now just getting trolly, jokey, abusive comments now. Now I'm gonna have to try and work out who's been genuine and who's not. I'm just gonna ignore you all now. Just in case you're being serious. Oh yeah, the poll. I'll leave it till Q3. Thank you, man. I'll try and remember. I'll tell you what, let's just end it. Because I will forget. You know what's going to happen. We'll get 2 minutes from the end of Q3 and then wonder why you've all got the right thing. 60% of you says McLaren, 23% Red Bull, 12% Ferrari, 3% Mercedes for the pole position today. 348 votes. Thank you very much for your votes on that one. Appreciated as always. James says, I think McLaren will undoubtedly take pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix. They're looking good. They're looking good. Norris was 3/10 clear, was he, in Q1? So, looking good at the moment. Now, this is the thing with I love this about Formula One. I love it. 3 cars on track, all nice and quiet. Then they'll come out at once and moan that they're in each other's way. I love it so much. I will say that on the sort of controversial opinions, I don't know if Nick agrees on this one. He might do. I do kind of miss it when F1 was a bit more of a niche thing to be a fan of. I like how commercially successful it is right now, but also I kind of missed our quiet, weird little corner of motorsport, or what felt like a quiet, weird little corner. It maybe never was, but it certainly used to feel like that. But yeah, I do miss those days where you sort of, what's your hobby? Formula One. What's a Formula One? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Cool story, Grandad. Over the line goes Hadjar in P2, 105.557. Here comes Liam Lawson, Purple in the middle sector, really nicely through the final corner there, Lawson, to go fastest on a 105.2. Just to confirm, Leclerc, Hadjar and Hamilton, and that was not on used tyres. Unless they've come back out on fresh tyres, they may have been, but yeah. Andras says, I agree, I'm at the track and it's packed. Yeah, everyone leave. Andras needs some space. Back off. Don't do that to me, CPB. Don't do that. Yeah, agree, Nick. Yeah. Let's yeah. I tell you what, we'll do a midweek stream at some point, Nick. Just me and you. You in the comments. Everyone else can listen, and we'll just moan about the world for an hour at some point. There you go. Over the line, Verstappen goes fastest on 105.1. Only Purple in the final sector, though, by the way. So, and a 1/10.5 quicker than Liam Lawson. So, Racing Bulls have got some pace here. They might cause an upset. You never know. You never know. Here's Russell now through turn 9. I love this corner. I don't know why I just do it. It's more challenging than it looks, I think. Same with the final corner in Austria. Piastri Purple in the middle sector as Russell goes third on a 105.382. Has something happened up at the... I don't think so, maybe not. I thought it was a yellow flag, but it wasn't. Piastri over the line is going to go fastest. He does indeed by half a second over Max Verstappen. Lando Norris is improving as well on that already. Oh dear. Here comes Norris, and over the line he goes. And he goes fastest on a 104.4. The McLarens are half a second clear of Max Verstappen, who is 7/10 off the fastest time actually as well. So I think it's looking like it's Norris versus Piastri. So there you go. Leclerc goes third, although makes it interesting. 3/10 off Piastri, 4.5 tenths off... I don't know what commentary got excited about there. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. They got excited about something and it was nothing. But yeah, Hamilton goes up to 4th place. So yeah, the Ferraris between Verstappen and the McLarens, interesting enough. So Verstappen on the radio. The car is completely the drive well. I have no grip. It's even worse than before. Turn 2 incident involving car 6. That's Hadjar failing to follow race director's instructions. Turn 2. Ah, yes. I bet that's not getting out of the way of traffic properly. They changed the rules, the race director's notes mid weekend, and it's that if you are getting out of the way of faster cars in quali, you have to move all the way over to the right hand side. I wonder if Hadjar didn't do that, so that could be what's happened there, because turn 2 would be, it's not a turn, is it? But you know what I mean. Hamilton can get grass there on the exit. That's maybe what they got excited about in comms. Maybe. There we go. But yeah, good stuff for Ferrari. I've got a red flag here. I'm guessing that's going to be for gravel or debris, or all the cars are moving. It's all that mud on the exit of turn 10. Oh, it's a fire. No, it's a fire. Lewis Hamilton was so fast over that grass, he set it on fire. Fire! What's the IT crowd one? 4, 5. I mean, fire. Dear sir / madam. No, that's too formal. If you've seen the IT crowd, that'll mean something to you. If you haven't, it'll mean nothing to you. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, the final corner's on fire. Very exciting, I know. Albon was on a decent lap. He'll be gutted, says Fud. I've not got his set. Oh, no, he did a personal best first sector, 16.5, which was quicker than Gasly, almost as quick as Lawson. So, yeah, he was on a good start to that there for Albon. Yeah, quick. Everyone complain about how terrible the circuit is and why it needs to be dropped now because we've got one fire. Yeah, that's the view. That's the view. That's how we do it, isn't it? Beavis and Butthead fire moment, says Robot Lunchbox Racing. Beavis and Butthead fire thing. Can't remember what that one is. I used to love Beavis and Butthead. I will have to go check that one out after stream as well. I don't understand why in the 75 years of F1, grass fire only appears these last 3 years. What has changed? Is it the skid blocks, Nick? Maybe. Or are they running the cars lower so there's more sparks, maybe? Yeah, you're right, because I don't remember, other than cars catching fire many years ago, I don't remember a lot of fire in F1. Jos Verstappen remembers fire in F1. Quite clearly. That was quite a moment, wasn't it, his pit stop? So it could be this. I think that, they changed the skid blocks, didn't they? So that might be it, but that's all I could think. So CJT Prince says, as an Australian, I would say that's not fire. I nearly did the accent. I thought best of it. I thought better of it. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I always try to go with something less dark, though, to be honest. And that's why I just thought about Jos Verstappen and his pit stop. He was all okay. Yeah, that was definitely not a grass fire. So where are we? I've got a red flag because of a fire at the final corner. So by firing a small grass fire. So just douse it in water will be fine. I'm glad there was a fire though, because I was just going to say it was ridiculous. We were stopping the session for a bit of mud, but there we go. 104.4 for Norris is currently the fastest time, 104.5 for Piastri in second. Then it's Leclerc and Hamilton, half a second off. Verstappen nearly 7 tenths off the fastest time in fifth. Lawson is sixth, looking good out there, Racing Bulls. Seventh for Russell, 8th for Hadjar, 9th for Antonelli, 10th for Gasly, and out so far, or on the edge, or on the brink of dropping out, Albon, Bearman, Alonso, Bortoletto and Colapinto, and we've already lost Stroll, Ocon, Tsunoda, Sainz and Hulkenberg. Q2 will resume at 16:47, which is 4 minutes from now. So ready to go. Williams Racing, last race winning 2020, firing the pit garage after the race is Andrew Bick. Yep. There's a great, I don't believe it, but there's a great conspiracy theory around that. I do like that. It's quite very convenient, wasn't it? But no, that Maldonado win, of course, 2012 was that was a surprise. It was a surprise, but then 2012 was one of those years where everything seemed to be a surprise. So there you go. I am going to have serious FOMO. Can't believe I just said that on the stream. Next week, because I won't be at the British Grand Prix, and I really wanted to go this year, and I'm not. I think I'm going to wait for the tickets to go on sale in August, September, and I'm going to buy them for next year. So if I do, there'll be no streams next year for the British Grand Prix weekend. But I'd like to go again. It's been a while. It's just quite pricey. But then it is a great weekend at Silverstone. I'm sure other tracks as well are great too, but Silverstone have a lot on across the weekend, so I suppose, maybe it's worth it. I don't know, but I'd like to go. It's been a while. I've not been since 2019, I think, was the last time I went, so it's been a while. There you go. Don't they know what time it is in Australia? It's just a little fire. Keep on racing. It will give them more incentive to not run wide, says Mad. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go live from the circuit. I haven't been since 2019, but the Wi-Fi or the internet there was horrific last time I went. It is just a field, so I'm not surprised. I think this year's sold out, except for the really expensive tickets, to be honest, at Silverstone. Even so, I wouldn't be able to go now because we've not got any content for next weekends, and I'm not going to have the time this week to make any because I'll be making other stuff for this week and then the following weeks as well. So, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. So we are getting going in a couple couple of minutes from now. I assume the fire's out then. We've not seen any shots of it since it happened. It was not quite to the extent we saw in Japan, but it is interesting that happened just after Lewis Hamilton went over that grass area in the final corner. So I'm assuming something to do with that. It could be the skid blocks, like I say, but we'll see. I could put Sam in charge of the streams next week. But I only just trust him to do the shorts, so I probably wouldn't take that risk. I hope he's not watching. He'll be crying now. I've upset him again. Yeah. Carlos likes to talk about damage to the floor, I think, there. I just caught. Problems. It was just a lot of problems he was saying, so yeah. So Moray's going to do the streams next week. That's that sorted. Then I can go to Silverstone. I think it is. I think it is sold out of Silverstone. If it isn't, it's only going to be the really expensive tickets that are available, as always. Yeah, general admission sells out ludicrously quickly. To be fair. Yeah, so we have lost Sainz. He's down in 19th place. His teammates up in 11th at the moment. Was on a good lap, as somebody pointed out in chat before that red flag came out for that grass fire in the final corner. But yeah, hopefully we'll get going in just a moment or two. It should be about to go now, I think. That is 47. There we go. Green light pit lane is open. I think they're running titanium skid blocks, aren't they? Oh, on the subject of Sainz, has anybody seen the Duracell advert? What does he say? They charged up the bunny or something. Like, all right, Carlos, chill out, mate. It's not appropriate. Yeah. But wait, so now we're just going to sit in the pit lane now. We could have kept the clock running, you see. Could have been wasting this time now. There you go. Think of all the Australians that need to go to bed. They're getting mad in my stream now. They're getting angry. They want to go to bed. Too long, this wait. It's terrible. Marcus Finkelhock is the GOAT, says Fudd. Has to be. Well, not necessarily the GOAT, but it's quite a great story, isn't it? There's one race that he took part in F1. He led for a while. Could have won it. Here we go, then. They're going out now. So Albon's going to have to go out, I would assume, on a used set of softs here. I'm not sure, Lee. I know they did say they were talking about it, weren't they? A few weeks ago about moving to steel skid blocks. So didn't they test them? But I feel like they're still. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. You guys are pretty good on your tech stuff, so let me know. But I thought it was still titanium. Here we go then. I'm not reading that. Sky said they did test the steel, went back to titanium. Okay, thank you for it. I thought it was something like that, so yeah. Right. Everyone's queuing at the end of the pit lane. Hadjar's first out, then it's Bearman and Bortoletto, so keep an eye on them. Projected knockout is a 105.2. So Lawson down definitely need to go. If you're Verstappen, you're going to go as well. I'd imagine most will be out there. I mean, McLaren don't need to. They can save the tyres if they want to, but they are going out. On used tyres, to be fair, but they've got the time in their pocket. But teams have to have steel ready for a change at a moment's notice. Fair enough. I'm assuming that's going to be if we have a weekend like Japan again, where the track kept catching fire, maybe then stop the session, delay things, please go change your skid blocks kind of thing, or change it between sessions, maybe, probably rather than in session, but yeah. So we've got cars on track. We're waiting for this to get around now. Hadjar is just going around 7 and 8, so it's short track here. It doesn't take long to get around, so not quite so much of a delay, but yeah, we are back on. ready to go for this final part, final 2.5 minutes of Q2. Then, of course, we've got Q3 still to come. So that's the one that really matters when it comes to the top drivers. But yeah, got to get through first. Yuki Tsunoda didn't. He's down in 18th in that Red Bull. But I saw someone say earlier, it's about where you'd expect him to be at the minute. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't imagine he's going to keep hold of that seat for next season. But it's still worth putting him in there and trying him for the year, because if it had worked, then you've solved your problem, haven't you? But I can't see them sticking with him for next year. But then that next year's car might suit him better, because it won't be leaning towards anybody, will it? Because it's a whole new thing. So, yeah, let's see. We'll do driver spec a bit later, or tomorrow, or in one of next weekend's stream, or at some point in the week. We always do driver speculation. So, Albon hasn't got going yet on his lap. So where are we? So the Hadjar's out there now. He's got Alonso, a bit of traffic for him, and he's not too bad. Better in the middle section than he was. 28.8 is personal best. Norris is improving as well, as is Verstappen. Hadjar, I think he needs this. Bortoleto, by the way, is nearly 4 tenths up on a time he needs to get through into Q3. So Gabriel Bortoleto is flying here as Hadjar goes up into 6th. I'm not convinced. Oh, Bearman might have saved him there. Bearman goes 8th. I'm not convinced that'll be enough for Hadjar, but we'll see. Here comes Bortoleto out the final corner and goes 3rd fastest. What a lap from Gabriel Bortoleto. 3 tenths off the McLarens. That's a hell of a lap. As Kimi Antonelli comes out of turn 1 sideways almost there. What a lap from Bortoleto that is. Piastri purple in the first sector. Verstappen now goes 3rd. So he's through there on a 4.0 on an 0.48 for sure there. I can't get over that from Bortoleto. I'm waiting for a track limits thing to come up, but I can't think where that track limits would be. Where's he cut a corner with that kind of time? Let's not get too excited, because a lot of cars are improving out here at the minute. Lawson now ahead of his teammate into 7th place and just behind the Ferraris. Antonelli is quicker here. 2 tenths up on Russell, which is the time he needs to get through. Russell also needs to improve. Russell should get through on that if he keeps it up. 3 tenths down on Norris is still sort of 3rd, 4th place territory by the end of the lap. Here comes Antonelli and goes only 8th for Antonelli on a 105.052. I think Russell will be better than that. I might be wrong. I said a bad final sector. Goes 5th on a 104.860. So behind Bortoleto, though, interesting enough. So Hadjar does drop into that bottom 5. So I think Hadjar is out here. That wasn't a great lap from him. It was okay, not great. Not enough to get through. Gasly's flying, though. He's well up on Alonso. Colapinto's improving. Leclerc goes 3rd. Lots of cars improving. It's Gasly, Albon, and Colapinto we're watching here. So Hadjar will not get another lap in. He's out. Bearman is out as well. So these three, as Gasly goes through into 6th place, knocks out Fernando Alonso. Colapinto's quick as well. He's out the final corner. Only 13th though on a 105.2. And Alex Albon, can he get through? I'd like to see him get through. Not quite. It's only a 12th for Albon on a 105.205. So we've lost Alonso, who's not improving. Albon, Hadjar, Colapinto and Bearman. Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Verstappen, Bortoleto 5th in the end. Gasly 6th. Russell 7th, Hamilton 8th, and Lawson in 9th, with Antonelli just scraping through by, what, 3/4 of a tenth? It's not 3/4 of a tenth at all. I didn't mean that. Ignore me. But only just sneaking through is what I'm saying, in 10th place. Big effort that from Bortoleto. That's a great effort. Hope he can get a lap in Q3 that's really strong as well, and he ends up sort of 8th place. Would be great for him tomorrow. Chance of points there. Nick says, damn it, P14 not too bad though. He's ahead of both the Haas drivers, ahead of one of the Astons, clear of Tsunoda. He's ahead of a Williams and a Sauber, and he was only what, a 10th off Albon ahead, so a couple of tenths, 2.5 tenths off a spot in Q3. So not bad from Colapinto, but not as good as his teammate up there. But you know, he was on the brink, wasn't he, in Q1 at one point? So there you go. He got to that point. Please, Sauber, don't screw Bortoleto's race, says Marcio Andretti. Andre, I had to say, not Andretti. Yeah, hopefully all goes okay for Borta tomorrow. You know, I want him and Colapinto to score some points, but yeah, he is 4/10 of his teammate as well. But I don't think 14th is... I mean, here's the question, I suppose. Do you think would Jack Doohan be doing any better, really, than that? Isn't that kind of where that second Alpine was anyway? So it's that old argument again. Colapinto maybe better some weekends than Doohan, maybe not better some weekends than Doohan would have been, but he brings money as well, and he's about where that second car's been. So, you know, worth a go. Do you think, Maury? I don't think he was that far. I mean, what were my numbers saying? I don't even know if I recorded them for the Alpine cars. I think I deleted them from my thing in a huff because I couldn't be bothered to work it out anymore. I don't know what the average gaps are between the two, but Doohan to Gasly up to Miami, there was nearly half a second between them on average in quali. Did the quali and race stats as well. 4-2 Gasly in race battle overall. Qualifying battle overall was 5-1 to Gasly. Average qualifying for Jack Doohan was 15.8 up to Saudi. Gasly was 10 on the nose. So I know there's a couple of races in there not filled out, but that's where we were last time I filled these out. I need to do them again, but I have not done them for so long. It's so much data to fill out. I can't be bothered. I know, shit attitude, I know, but it's a lot of effort. So I don't think Doohan was... If he was ahead, it's not spectacularly ahead, if that makes sense. Yeah, he was doing the extra pressure. That's fair. I mean, well, Doohan was under pressure the minute he signed a bloody contract, wasn't he? As soon as Flav came in, he was like, don't want him, basically. So, look, Jack Doohan was doomed from the outset. He was never going to get the full season. We knew that at the start, before the season even got going. So, he did what he could, but he wasn't great. But Colapinto's not been great either. So, but Colapinto does bring money. Quite a bit of money from, is it Mercado Libre? Yeah, I don't know. It's an off-the-cuff comment in a live stream when I've not got all the info in front of me. Maybe it's worth a look after Silverstone at where... Oh, but then I have to deal with the Argentinian fans. That's the trouble. The Argentines will be after me again. Yeah, maybe something for after Silverstone to look into in a bit more depth. Maybe. Max calling out the Ferrari, calling him naughty. I don't know what happened. I just caught him waving his finger out the corner of my eye. So I don't know if he's thinking about impeding there. Norris and Leclerc are reviewed for impeding, but no further investigation. And then there's the usual following race director's instructions on a maximum delta time, which never comes to anything at all. So obviously, we don't know what backroom talks go on, but from the outside looking in, it seems cruel to give Doohan the seat, knowing you'll kick him to the curb a few races in. Says NF4728. Yeah, but then it's up to Doohan, I suppose, to try and force him into a difficult decision, isn't it? But if he's not got the backing of everybody at the team, it's difficult to do that. It did seem harsh, but it was also inevitable, like I say. So when it happened, it was one of those pretend to be shocked moments, really. But yeah, let's have a look at positives in there. You know, Bortoleto 5th, Gasly 6th, Lawson in 9th place. Really great laps from them. This is definitely, unless that man Max Verstappen can surprise us all, definitely going to be Norris versus Piastri. Fascinating. Yeah, a little slight delay. Got a couple of minutes to start session. I am going to have a very quick drink, so I will go quiet for a second. Then I'll be back with you as soon as I can. You can time in. Let's see if we can beat the personal best for pit stop, which I can't remember what it was now. So I'll pretend that I did anyway. Had ice in my drink and it's melted, and I've just dribbled all the condensation down me. So, you know, there you go. 39, and I'm still dribbling my drinks down me. Pit or piss start, says C. Not quite the second one yet. The streams aren't quite long enough for that, but it will happen eventually, I'm sure. Yeah, testing streams are fun. Trying to squeeze toilet breaks in, but there you go. Lawson beat Hadjar. Is that a first? Says Nick. I don't think so. Actually, that's a... Oh, God. How am I going to find this out? I can't... I don't record the bloody quali data, do I? I can't... No, I can't find out on stream, but somebody might be able to find out. Just give me 2 seconds. Just whiz that message over. There we go. Travis says, my guy, that is a rough 39. What, physically? Yeah, tell me about it. More like mentally 18, physically 80. Yeah. I've been losing the old hair since I think I asked my dad about it, and I think I was about 19 when I started losing my hair. So I fought it for a while, and now I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't know if I might be in the minority, I don't know, but I'm one of those people that really doesn't give a shit how I look. I couldn't care less. I am what I am and all that. Don't start singing. In this quali format, pressure is insane for all drivers in all teams all the time, in F1 pretty much, doesn't it? So yeah, that sounded really solemn when he said we lost Fernando for half a second. I was like, what? Oh, I thought I missed that one, Annette. Thank you, Murray. Appreciate that one. It's not. I wasn't offended, Travis, at all. Believe me, I've had a lot worse than you look a bit rough for 39. I can assure you of that. So yeah, but no, I don't care how I look. No point. If anyone gets that reference, you're elite. Says CPB. What was the reference? I may have missed it. Chat seems on quite a delay today for some reason, so I think I missed your reference, mate. Unfortunately. We are go, by the way, in Q3. I should have said that like 2 minutes ago. We've not got a single car on track. We're doing the Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you now. I might shave it all off eventually. The trouble is, with me being on the larger side, and because I'm going grey, if I shave all that, I'm going to look like Phil Mitchell. So at the moment I'm quite happy looking a bit like Rob Marshall. At least it's F1 related, you know. So if I suddenly sit here with a bald head and start going, you're a grass, I can't stand grasses, don't disrespect my family, you know, that I finally made the turn as Phil Mitchell. So there you go. I made that comment half an hour ago. What time are you reading this? Says Nick. 16:03. My boy in Turkey out with a new Barnet. Can they pay for it as well, Darren? Also, do they visit Lincoln? Do they do home visits? Joining late, but Tsunoda out in Q1 again. What does Red Bull need to do to get some quality points from the second driver? Just build a car that suits. Just build a car that suits multiple driving styles. But then you are, you know, if you've got Max Verstappen, of course you're building the car towards him. But yeah. I did start growing a beard, but then we got to the summer and it started to get itchy and hot, so I just started shaving it off again. But I absolutely will. Look at that for the winter again. For Christmas, a nice grey beard, and I'll get a Santa hat and everything, just sitting going ho, ho, ho for an hour. Max Verstappen joining the traffic and was having to dodge a car trying to get out there. Was it a Mercedes? Said, whoa, okay. Let's see. Here we go then. Laps are coming. Right, off we go. Sorry, if you are just tuning in, we tend to fill quite a bit while waiting for cars to hit the track because it's very difficult to commentate on nothing happening. So we like to talk nonsense. There you go. Here comes Piastri. Yeah, in turn 1. Not turn 1, sorry, turn 3. Technically turn 2, but officially turn 3. Norris is purple in the first sector, and actually by a good tenth of a second, actually. So there we go. There we go. We'll keep. I'm going to see what these first laps are like. I'm sort of trying to read your comments and watch this. So I'll focus on this for now, and then we'll come back to comments shortly. My mate said, look like Jason. Sean, stop it. Watch the Formula One. People are saying interesting things. There we go. Antonelli goes fast on 105.276. 105.649 for Pierre Gasly. Over the line goes Norris on a 104.5. Piastri on a 104.5. Norris is going to smash that, and he's absolutely going to destroy that. 104.5 for Piastri. It's a 104.2 for Lando Norris, only 0.3 quicker than his teammate. Looking like Norris might be putting it all together here. Obviously, qualifying is only part of the story. There's a whole race to go tomorrow. And anything can happen, as we saw in Canada. So, Verstappen pushing hard here. Over the line he goes. Third fastest, 0.6 off Lando Norris, and nearly 0.4 off Piastri. Yeah, McLaren have got this one in the bag. As Leclerc goes second. Did Piastri have a scruffy lap? What's that Ferrari doing there? That's not right. Get a nosebleed. 0.2 off Norris in second place there, Leclerc. Russell is 3.5 down Norris at the moment. That would put him ahead of Verstappen if he was to pull that one off. He's got the rest of the lap to do yet, though. Here comes Russell out the final corner. And he goes 5th on a 104.844. Reckon Oscar is pinching pole back in for the championship, says Travis. That's a hell of a deficit, though, isn't it? Well, 0.3. It's doable. It is doable. But Norris seems to be on it today. So one more set of runs. Russell's been noted for an unsafe release in the pit lane, by the way. So that's usually a ticking off, isn't it, rather than anything else. So Oscar will need a lap of the gods to beat Lando, says Louis. Max and the Mercs on scrub tyres. Good spot. Yeah, good. Actually, everyone 5th down. So there is still time on the table there for all of those. So there we go. Doable. It's very doable. But Leclerc, the surprise there is second. But as you say, if we've got drivers on scrub tyres, that might surprise. Hamilton will be 4th place. He was on fresh tyres. So let's see. That actually, thinking about that, I said this earlier in the stream, didn't I? About Verstappen only having 5 sets of new soft tyres going into FP3. So obviously they wanted to save a set somewhere. So get the banker in. And then they've got the fresh set now for the final one. 5 pole. It's so confusing around Austria. Max Verstappen has had 5 wins in Austria and has been on pole for the last 5 years, but one of those was the Styrian Grand Prix and not the Austrian Grand Prix, so that's where the confusion comes in. Unsafe release for George Russell. I mean, maybe, but I mean, that generally is only going to be a ticking off, isn't it? But yeah, what can he do? He can't see. He's got to be told by his engineer, so no time for losses, Mad. No, he didn't complete his lap. He did do some sectors, 16.6, 28.9 and 28.6. Maybe felt like no point with that lap, so box to put on the fresh set now. So it's a fast track with flowing and a few momentum corners. I hope it rains, says Tommy. It's what was the outtake that I could never say? The Red Bull ring was a really trick quack. Was it something like that I said? I don't know, but yeah. While we're talking about the channel being 8 years old, let's go back and laugh at Sean's inability to say words. Me fail English? That's impossible. It's not scheduled to rain or forecast to rain. Do you schedule rain? Forecast to rain. That's for sure. So, but it was also supposed to be hotter than this. It is only 28.1 degrees air temperature. So it was supposed to be baking hot. I would call that baking hot. Most of you would say it isn't. There you go. Please to drop a like, by the way, while we're waiting for these final runs. We are 22 away from that magic triple digits that I always love to hit on streams. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. Lots to come this season and indeed this weekend. So yeah, please to drop a like. 550 of you here. I'm sure we can get 22. Let's see if we can get it done before the end of the session. 2.5 minutes to go. That's a big ask, actually, so maybe not. Maybe not. I have faith in you. Let's see what happens. As Lewis Hamilton, is he letting the car out or just making a gap? Either way, the car has snuck in. So Mad says, yes, I've ordered showers for 1 p.m. Yeah, I've scheduled the showers for 1 p.m. That'll do. Were they on Amazon or yeah? I love how the cars were like a mini rainbow in the pits. It's difficult for the drivers. I'm not making excuses for Russell and Co in there, but they can't see out the side of those cars, can they, very well? So they do need engineers to step in. So I think in qualifying in those situations when it's considered an unsafe release, I think the team needs to take the responsibility on that. And I think a warning or a fine or whatever is more than enough. There won't be a sporting penalty for it. If it happens in the race, there needs to be a sporting penalty. And I'm not getting back into the Hockenheim debate for a few years ago when Charles Leclerc and Ferrari got a fine for an unsafe release in the race and everyone went mental for it because it was ridiculous. You can't can't go putting a price on pit lane speeding or unsafe releases, can you? So well, I suppose you could. You shouldn't, but you could. They always did it again at Merck, says Colin. I didn't quite catch that, but here comes Verstappen on a fresh set of softs. Now, what can he do? Can he surprise, or is this all in the bag for McLaren? He's got Antonelli, Bortoletto, Gasly ahead, traffic-wise. They're all going to start backing up soon because there isn't much of a gap between Gasly and Bortoletto. So, yeah, let's see. Verstappen is cut to turn 3 now. My cat's breath smells like cat food, says Ralph, says Kevin. Yeah, Ralph quotes are the best quotes. So Russell's been warned, actually is noted for failing to follow the race director's notes on entering the fast lane, so that might be where that comes from. We shall see. Max Verstappen were 8 away from 100, by the way, with 35 seconds to go. I'm not going to say any more than that. Max Verstappen then. So it's Russell who's purple in the first sector. Good morning, George. Are you here, mate? Unsafe release has done him well. Max is not. Oh, got yellow flags out there. Who is it? It's Gasly in the final corner, and it's going to compromise Piastri. He's not on a hot lap, Piastri, so he might be okay here. It is, and he's just cleared, so Max should be okay. I'm guessing a nice pirouette then. But round this final corner comes Max Verstappen. He's not going to be on pole, that's for sure. In fact, what happened there? It's affected Piastri starting his lap. I think it's affected Verstappen there. He was well off the pace. He crossed the line, but was about 4 seconds off over the line. So I don't know what happened there. Norris is flying, by the way. Norris has got this. It's Norris's pole. Whatever happened with Gasly has compromised Piastri, who came out of that final corner, so he could be flat out of the final corner. It's Norris on pole. He's also improving, so it's going to be Norris on pole. Probably Leclerc second. Piastri third. Is a bit anticlimactic. Over the line. Oof. Bloody hell. Lando Norris a 103.9 to go half a second clear of Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton stays 4th. Oscar Piastri is not improving at all. In fact, I think he's backed off now. And it's Norris on pole. Liam Lawson, yes, out-qualifies Max Verstappen. Good spot there, Reclusive Duck. So Racing Bulls are the highest of the Red Bull runners this weekend. Bortoletto over the line. Bortoletto goes 8th. What an effort. I said 8th place would be a good spot to start from for him. What an effort that is. 8th place for Bortoletto. Piastri pit. So I want to see what happens to Gasly. I'm assuming it's kick up gravel on the exit and spin. And that's the end of that. So that would have disabled DRS. It would have caused Piastri to have to back off through 10, so he couldn't keep it flat to start his lap. And that's what's cost Piastri there. So, yeah. Norris had pole with his first lap in the end then. Of course Gasly spun in the final corner, Harry. It was always obvious what was going to happen. It's what everyone does at the weekend in Austria. It's like, yeah, on the gravel, kept it. Yeah, that's just a... Oh, is that a double? Oh, nice. He went round twice, but he kept it going. So that, yeah, he kept all his... Ran wide, caught the gravel, round he went once. And then because that wasn't enough for Pierre... One more. There you go. And then Piastri's going to come through. He's going to have had yellow flags through there. double waved yellows, and DRS will be disabled. Verstappen backed off as well. Can I rewind when we're live? No, I can't. I was going to say, I was just rewinding and check where Verstappen was, because I feel like Verstappen could have kept going. And actually, so Bortoleto got a nice toe off Verstappen down the straight, which would have helped him. So what an effort. So Lando Norris on pole. There we go. There we go. Norris on pole confirmed. Bit anticlimactic at the end, but that is where we are right now. We'll go for the result in just a moment. But yeah, that was that cost it. That definitely cost Piastri, and it cost Verstappen as well, didn't it? So Max Verstappen 7th in that Red Bull, and behind Liam Lawson, who is the highest Red Bull driver this weekend. Wow, that's quite the story. Lewis says, nice easy win for Lando tomorrow. Look, we said at the start of the stream, or before the qualifying session started, Lando needs to stitch a weekend together. He's done part one of that. Now he needs to do that in the race to bounce back from his mistake in Canada. I have to keep making that clear. He said it was his mistake. Everyone watching could see it was his mistake, but you'd think that it was some unfortunate piece of bad luck, the way some people talk about it. He fucked it up. But yeah, Norris, as I said in my on the live when went out as a short, he's driven into the back of me like an idiot. Like an idiot. I didn't call him an idiot. I said like an idiot. Charles Leclerc waving at the camera. He's got to be happy with P2, but half a second to Norris. I mean, but yeah, well done to Lando. I mean, that's the way you bounce back from a mistake, isn't it? You come into the weekend, you do a great job. Piastri, though, I said it in the video, again, the Norris one I did after Canada. Piastri can sort of, not to the same extent, because the gap between P1 and P2 is quite big now with that 7-point deficit, and the lead isn't that big, but he can start to employ some Alain Prost tactics. I'm not talking Alain Prost in Suzuka tactics. I'm talking Alain Prost, right, I can't catch him. No point taking the risk. Let's bank these points and think of the bigger picture. He's got the championship lead. He has more to lose. So third place looks bad on paper. Nearly 6/10 off his teammate, but he still has the championship lead. And P2 tomorrow wouldn't be a bad result given how good Norris has been this weekend so far. So, but you can't rule anything out in Austria. Handful of laps to go last year. Nobody thought Russell was going to win, and look what happened right towards the end. So there you go. But yeah, yellow flag definitely ruined the end of that session. It was shaping up to be quite exciting because Piastri was going to have to come back at Norris. We wanted to see what Verstappen could do. He was improving, Max, but I don't think he was threatening pole. I would say you were probably looking more around top 5, maybe top 4 for Verstappen in that. Once everyone shakes out. Well, maybe a bit higher, actually. It depends on what Leclerc was doing before the yellow flags came out or whatever. So, yeah, but he wasn't on for pole. I think Lando had this, so there you go. But it's a long race tomorrow. Short lap, long race. About as long as every other race, pretty much. But you know what I mean. Anything can happen. It's not forecast to rain, but it's Austria. It's not quite to the same extent as Spa, but it can, the rain can bubble up out of nowhere here from time to time and surprise you. So it might do that. Safety cars are quite common here, given the nature of the track. So lots of variables tomorrow that could change that. But right now, it'd be a brave person to bet against Lando Norris winning tomorrow. So we'll do predictions shortly. I'm going to get a quick drink, pause for the timestamp, run through the order. We'll do some predictions for tomorrow, answer a few questions, then I'm going to go and cool down somewhere and see how we go. Just give me 15 seconds, a whole 15. Here we go. Was it 15 or was I too slow? Lando Norris on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix, a whopping half a second clear of Charles Leclerc in second place. Ferrari have turned up. Oscar Piastri in third place, 6/10 off his teammate, but his final run was compromised by Pierre Gasly spinning at the final corner, bringing out the yellow flag, disabling DRS, which meant Piastri wasn't up to speed by turn 1, so he backed out that lap pretty quickly. So unfortunate there for Piastri. Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Ferrari have really turned up this weekend. Only 300ths off Piastri in the end, with George Russell 5th and Liam Lawson in 6th, the highest Red Bull associated running car in the Racing Bulls there. Only a 10th off Russell in 5th place as well. So great stuff from Lawson so far this weekend. Verstappen down in 7th. He was compromised by Gasly's spin as well. Bortoletto possibly or certainly in the running for the qualifier of the day. What an effort from him up in 8th place in that Sauber. Those updates from Spain really working wonders. Antonelli in 9th place. Not great after his podium in Canada, but he's in the top 10. Pierre Gasly 10th in the Alpine, with Fernando Alonso in 11th and Alex Albon in 12th. Isack Hadjar down in 13th place, which he'll be disappointed with Lawson up in 6th, I'm sure. Franco Colapinto 14th, Bearman 15th, and then it's Lance Stroll 16th, Esteban Ocon 17th, Yuki Tsunoda 18th, Carlos Sainz 19th, and Nico Hulkenberg in 20th place. So that's your grid for tomorrow as it stands. There are some investigations. The usual maximum delta times that will be looked at, but they generally don't come to anything. George Russell has been noted for an unsafe release, which actually turned into a entering the fast lane investigation. So there might be something there, more likely a reprimand or a warning or a fine there for the team than anything. I don't expect a sporting penalty there. And as far as I could see, no real claims of impeding, which, given it's Austria, that's a little bit of a surprise. But who knows, in Formula One, as we saw last time out in Canada, we might get a protest post-session. Let's see what happens in the coming hours. Hopefully not. That was ridiculous in Canada. How many hours did that take? 5 or something like that. Goodness me, that was frustrating. I was sat here waiting to have to redo do some sort of short to let you all know that Russell's lost his win, but nope, nothing came of it, which was fine. Nothing in that anyway, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm sure we can talk about stewards and that at some point, but yeah, that is your grid as it stands. So I mean, we can talk qualifier of the day if you want. I mean, Liam Lawson's got to be in there. Bortoletto has to be in there as well, and Lando Norris to go half a second quicker than anybody else is still, whatever the reason, is still a fantastic lap. So there we go. Mad says I'm off. Good night, morning all. Thank you. No worries, Mad. Have a good one, mate, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Maybe they'll let you change your username by tomorrow, and we'll all know your secret new name. There we go. But yeah, get your questions in. We'll do that. Then we'll do some predictions, but we'll probably not be live for too much longer this evening because it is a bit warm, and we're live again tomorrow. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, please do get your questions in. Don't forget we're 5 away from 100, by the way. So if we can get 5 more likes, that'd be epic. If not, I'll message Sam and he can log into his 7 burner accounts and drop some likes. I'm joking. I'd never do that. How dare you? Mad says everyone's name is wrong, I noticed. I did notice actually CPB is wrong as well to me. Now you've said that. So a few are a little bit off, actually, to what I'd normally see in the chat. So maybe there's a YouTube issue somewhere. But, yeah. Clansup's going to rewatch the stream. If you're watching this in the past, I'll not spoil anything for you. But, yeah, hopefully you'll catch up later, mate, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. But we'll see what happens tomorrow in the race. I think that's an interesting lineup. I'm not convinced the Ferrari race pace is going to be all that spectacular. Verstappen's race pace on Friday afternoon actually wasn't all that far away from the McLarens, as I recall. So maybe he'll come through. You can overtake in Austria. I don't expect Liam Lawson will be too much of a problem for him. Red Raven says, am I still normal? And says, don't answer that. I'll leave it then. But you are appearing as normal, yeah, but CPB isn't, which is strange. So I don't know if it might be a YouTube issue. We'll see. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to dance turn 3 tomorrow. Is really turn 1, not so much. The problem for Norris, and it's a little bit, it's not the same distance, but it's a little bit like Mexico, for example, where you get out of turn 1, relatively short run to turn 1, but then you've got such a drag up to turn 3 that Norris is going to give all of those behind a really lovely tow. So there's no reason why we might not see 3 cars side by side on the run to turn 3. So if we've got Norris to the right, Leclerc to the left, and Piastri to the far left, who knows? Russell could be leading, or Hamilton could be leading by turn 4. So we'll see what happens. But it's not over in Austria. It's not like a Monaco where Norris has got pole, so you can give him the points now and that's the end of that. you can overtake in Austria. Safety cars can throw a spanner in the works. Anything can happen. So definitely worth watching. Austria is one of those. I think Canada is as well. But certainly Austria is one on that list that you have to watch every year because something can happen and usually does. So, well, good. We all have @signs, so it's showing our YouTube ID as opposed to the display names, methinks. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Can I change that? I'll see if I can change that in my settings. I probably can't. So that'll be why then, the @. Yeah, thank you, Red Raven. Good spot. Very good spot. No Nick the Greek was how I figured it out. So anyone who has a different display name to their username is only showing their username. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so if your @ on YouTube is different to your display name, it's showing that. So I'll have a look into that. I don't know if that is if it's a bug or if that is now how they're doing live chat. I will check. They don't tend to tell me those things, not me personally, but us those things. So let's see. But yeah, Norris to the left of you, Leclerc on the right. Here I am stuck in the middle of you, says Fudd. There we go. I nearly sang it, but I chose not to. Do you think Leclerc will leave Ferrari at the end of 2026 if Ferrari had a bad year? I can't see where else he goes. Leclerc's going to be one of those drivers, I think, CPB, that is locked into what Verstappen does next. If Verstappen leaves Red Bull need a replacement. If Alonso, Alonso actually is out in that as well. When Alonso retires, could Aston chase Leclerc if Verstappen isn't available, or if Russell isn't available, or somebody else, maybe they could chase him. Whilst they're both locked down to contracts, if McLaren spend a couple of years, which I'm not sure they will next year, very early prediction, I think McLaren have gone all in on this year, knowing that next year, with them being a customer team, it's going to be tougher for them to challenge for the title. So get the title this year is how it feels. We've seen that before when we've had big rules changes, so I think that's what's happening. But if Norris and Piastri start banging wheels and falling out later in the year, I'm not convinced that's a long-term sustainable lineup. So Piastri could move on to somewhere else, or Norris might, and that might mean Leclerc ends up at McLaren. So there's options. Although now I've said that, who was the last Ferrari driver to go directly to McLaren? Kimi Räikkönen went from McLaren to Ferrari. Alonso went from McLaren to Renault to Ferrari to McLaren. So was it Alonso, Ferrari to McLaren? Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah. I don't know where that came from, because it just that's the problem with me. Things like that crop into my head all the time. I'll be sat downstairs watching something not related to F1 and go, who was the last driver to do such and such? And I don't know why it happens. It just does. So yeah, it would have been Alonso, because Alonso went Minardi, year out, Renault, McLaren, back to Renault with that horrible ING livery or whatever it was. Then to Ferrari, then to McLaren for the Honda, didn't he? And then took time out before coming back to Alpine and then Aston Martin. Yeah, there you go. Ferrari to GP2 engine, says Kaori. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the GP2 engine saga. So yeah, Leclerc would have options if he left, but at the moment, if he left, he'd have nowhere to go. He'll stick it out. He'll be a while yet. Kevin says, but I ask you, what is a contract? Webster's define it as an agreement under the law which is unbreakable. Which is unbreakable? Lionel Hutz. Yeah, exactly. Simpsons quotes. But in a more serious F1 point, when it comes to your salary, your bonuses, and what's expected of you as a driver, your contract means everything. That contract length isn't worth the paper it's written on in F1. If from a driver market point of view, in the sense that anybody could leave at any point, just because your contract says you've got 5 years with the team doesn't mean you'll be there in 5 years' time, and that works both ways. So the weird coloured McLaren, they went chrome, didn't they? First, didn't they? Hillbilly Reefer, that's the name I was trying to say there. Yeah, they went from, they had that really weird chrome that they then changed to the black, didn't they? Which was weird, but yeah, weird. What are those glass case F1 cars behind his right shoulder? Is that my right? Yes, that's your right, Sean. It's been your right all your life. They're a bunch of Ferraris. I'll get the camera out properly over there one day and we'll have a look at them during maybe a more midweeky style stream, or in the winter we'll go through them, or even a summer break perhaps. Although I've got 2 weeks off in the summer breaks, which is exciting. I need them. But definitely a lot of Ferraris there. A lot of Ferraris. Very good, Kevin. Any questions related to the race tomorrow or qualifying today? If you've missed anything, I like them. Would love to get them for my living room. I've got 12 more still in boxes that I haven't opened up yet because there's no space on the shelf for them. So they may end up in my living room, to be fair, or at least take the Schumacher ones down there. But yeah, quite a few bits over there that I'll probably show you properly at some stage. None of it cheap. How will Ferrari destroy Leclerc's race tomorrow? Says Phil. They'll probably put Inters on about lap 15. There'll be a cloud that wanders over and doesn't drop any rain, and they'll put him on Inters just in case. So, who will gain the most places? I'm thinking Hulkenberg, but I'm hoping it's going to be Tsunoda. Says Red Raven. Most places tomorrow, I think Tsunoda. No, I think you might be right. You might be right in Hulkenberg looking at it again. Sainz is a shout, actually, from 19th. That Williams is quicker than 19th. So I think your bottom three, it sounds obvious, Tsunoda, Sainz and Hulkenberg will be the ones fighting for most positions. But don't forget Stroll is pretty good at gaining places when he wants to as well. So, yeah, I'll if you're going to go with Hulkenberg, I'll go with Sainz. There you go. Who was the only person to win a World Drivers' Championship in a car he built? Was that... I've forgotten his name. Don't look at the chat. I've forgotten his name. Was it Brabham or McLaren? It's a good question. Oh, World Championship. I've gone with race. Is it Bruce? It must be Bruce McLaren. Plan C, Plan Combat says Eurovision fan. Yeah, probably. They'll be on intermediates in no time in that race for no reason. You know what they're like. Hulkenberg should start from the pit lane to avoid any argy-bargy on lap 1, says Pascal. See, that's a fair point. Austria is one of those where maybe starting in the pit lane isn't going to hurt you too much. Was it Brabham? I knew it was one of them, Bruce McLaren or Brabham. I got them in my head for some reason. So yeah, I'll stick with that. I'm just watching the Anthony Davidson, sort of analysing his final corner stuff with Gasly, but I think I missed the bit that I needed to see. So I'm gonna rewind that, and we'll see if he did, because I want to know what happened there, like specifically and exactly what happened there. So particularly Verstappen was the one. I understand what happened with Piastri, because he was just coming around to start his lap and the yellow flags were out, so that's obvious. But I'm trying to understand, because when I was watching the driver track, I thought Verstappen was a bit behind that yellow flag, but we're going to find out now. So let's have a look. So he's coming through 8, on the way to 9. So spin's already happened at this point. No yellows. So the yellows come out at turn 9, so that's why double waved yellows at turn 9. So it does catch Verstappen out, so that explains that then. So there we go. I just wanted to make sure. The Antonelli one was that he was letting a racing balls through and then missed the line for the final flying lap because he had to let that car through, and that cost him just the time he needed to get over that line. So maybe a bit too cautious for Antonelli, but better than an impeding penalty, I suppose, isn't it? So and then over the line, that's what cost Verstappen. So there you go. That confirms that for me. Have to back out of that in that situation. You don't know what's around the corner, do you? So there we go. Any thoughts on the potential new Alpine team principal? Didn't have that one on my radar, to be honest, as Red Raven. Who have they gone with, or who are they rumoured to be going with? I'm not sure. I saw Bernie Eccleston in the garage earlier, so that's a terrifying thought, isn't it? That's a really scary thought. But yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything said. What's happening? But yeah, let me know, Red Raven, if there's anything specific on there. But I've not seen Nielsen after he reportedly refused at first. The only name I've got in my head is Steve Nielsen, and I feel like that's not right. Oh no, it would be Steve Nielsen, wouldn't it? Is he still part of the FIA? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know an awful lot about him. Let's have a look at his Wikipedia page. I'll tell sod all. Look at that. After spending 2020 as sporting director at Caterham, Nielsen joined Scuderia Toro Rosso, great name, at the start of 2013. He joined Williams as sporting manager in December 2014 and worked in that role until leaving in July 2017, being replaced by Dave Redding. On August 2017, started a new position as sporting director of Formula One, left his role and became the FIA sporting director in 2023, and then left after 11 months in the position in December. So he's been out of work for a little while then, based on that. I don't know why I was reading it like I was reading a news article, but I felt like it. There you go. So yeah, I mean, look, anybody's better than the fact they haven't really got one. They've got Flavs is all but. I think the thing with Flavio Briatore is he can't be team principal. I might be using the phrase license wrong, but I think you've got to have some sort of thing signed off by the FIA, and he can't be. For some, I can't remember what the reason is, but there's a very, very good reason, I'm sure. So they need somebody, but they need somebody that's going to be able to. They have to be quite thick-skinned, and they're going to have the staying power because they've not really got. You could argue they've not actually got control of that team principal situation since Flavio was first booted out for obvious reasons, but also since Cyril Abiteboul. It's not been right since then. So they get through so bloody many. They really, really do. But yeah, weird. We'll see what happens. If it's just rumour, I'll go and have a read up on it and maybe talk about it again tomorrow. But they need somebody, don't they? Williams says, doesn't Flav still have a lifetime ban? No, that was overturned. Because, you know, there you go. No one races under the England flag, says Nick. Is that a different conversation that I'm missing out on? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. You'll tell me anyway. Yeah. But yeah, reasons. They still have unbanned Flag because, you know, contracts are unbreakable, says Kevin. RB is registered in Austria, Merck in Germany, says Kaori. I don't know. I don't know what goes on with flags and whatnot. I mean, Oscar Piastri with his racing license used to race under a British license. And he's not British. Simple as that. William says Max going to Merck now. Question about what this weekend? He's done, William. He's had enough, mate. He's heading down to Merck. He's talking to Toto now. I'll drive your car tomorrow, please. We might do some more on that at some point. We talked a bit earlier about it, but I don't. It doesn't feel right now like he'll go to Merck, but I kind of wouldn't mind him doing it. Yeah. Pascal says thoughts on Alex Dunn for his debut in first practice. I thought he did very well. He did do very well. I think first FP1 outing, 4th place, first time since I did go back and have a look, and I might be wrong on it, but I think the highest FP1 finish of a rookie since Carlos Sainz at Toro Rosso. Maybe. I might be wrong on that. I think people are a little bit over the top with it. I think he did a really good job, but it is only FP1. We don't know engine modes. We don't know what they were doing with the car. We don't know everything going on with fuel loads and that, so there might have been some glory runs in that. I don't know, but he deserves a lot of credit for a really good effort, a good start, and let's see if he gets another shot and can back that up, and maybe we'll see him on the grid one day. But yeah, I'm not gonna tear him down for engine modes and that. I'm just making a point that I think sometimes certain broadcasters and people tend to get a little bit. The only person, as far as I'm concerned, who's allowed to be overhyped about Alex Dunn is our Thomas because he is Irish. So he's very excited about the whole thing, is Thomas. As you can imagine, he keeps getting a bit excited about it. So we'll let him have that. But yeah, it is only FP1, so let's relax a little bit on it. But also, well done to Alex Dunn for a really good effort. So that's that. Didn't make any mistakes from what I could see. I was watching it, so I don't recall any major mistakes. Good driving, good speed. That's that. Great experience, by the way, for him. Very handy. I do wonder how much that compromises an F2 driver's weekend, though, in F2. When they have to sort of hop out of the F2 car into an F1 car and then back into an F2 car. He didn't qualify particularly well, did he? Not badly, but not particularly well. But Alex done quite well for himself. Sorry, says Red Raven. I think he goes for 27 and stays for 26. That's Verstappen from William there. Yeah, but it might be worth sticking around at Red Bull and seeing who's where before making that commitment. And maybe that's what Toto Wolff is hanging on for at the moment. Not necessarily for next year, but what happens beyond that, maybe. So, yeah, we'll see. We're getting to the point. Was it about this time last year when he confirmed that he was staying at Red Bull? In 24 for 25. So we might hear something in the coming weeks. I'd imagine we're looking at summer break. But don't forget, when it comes to summer breaks, drivers do love to throw a hand grenade into the summer break every now and again. Daniel Ricciardo deciding he's off to Renault. I think Alonso announced he was taking some time out around the summer break as well. So we might get some news in there, which would be great for content. Probably when I'm on my 2 weeks off, right in the middle, Max Verstappen announces his retirement, Lewis Hamilton's moving to Red Bull, and Nikita Mazepin's back, and I'll be on holiday and won't be able to do anything about it. So that'll be about right. That's about right. Any crashes and what happened to Max, says Data Freak. So Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri were both caught out by Pierre Gasly spinning at the final corner. So he spun, did 2 spins and then rejoined, but Verstappen came across the yellow flags, so that compromised his final run. And his first run was on used tyres as well, but his second run was on new tyres but compromised. And Piastri was coming past Gasly as that all happened, and so the start of his lap was compromised. So I wouldn't read too much into their lap times. In terms of crashes, Gasly was just a spin. No crashes in F1, but if you haven't seen the F2 yet, there was one massive crash which resulted in a car flipping, and another one which was 4-car pile-up at turn 3 on about the final lap, I think, that we never got to see a replay of. So there you go. CJT Prince says, who cares? Whoever asked the question, I guess, is my answer to that one. And I have to say, should that man get a promotion, please? Ask the Planet F1 writers. I want the headline done and dusted, please, says Red Raven. There you go. Done and dusted. I'll have that. I will actually send that on. Max with Red Bull for 26, Russell for Merck 26, says Clanson. Max made the right move staying at Red Bull for this year, says CPB. Gasly didn't crash but did a 720, and that's also what happened to Max and Gas, says Fudd, just for answering that question. And Cole says, who likes Max? Because I don't. I do. There's a good grandstand of a very orange looking grandstand of people that seem to love him at the Red Bull ring. So I feel like Red Bull would need a huge name if Max left. If Max goes CPB, they're finished. In fact, actually, before we round the stream off, very quickly, let me do this now. I'll do it on my phone. It'll be easier. 3 times I got this bloody phone out in this stream. Terrible. I'm going to get detention. It's awful. I was randomly looking at some stuff earlier, and I know we have to take some of this with a pinch of salt, because ultimately, if you put somebody else in Verstappen's car, they will pick up points. But if you remove Verstappen's points from the equation, his 155 points, and focus on just the points scored by the second Red Bull car, which is 10, Red Bull would currently be bottom of the Constructors' Championship. Now, again, you can easily whack on another 10 points if another driver was to score those 10 points. But even if they did, that would only give them 20, and they're still 9th, tied with Sauber in the Constructors. That is why Red Bull cannot lose Max Verstappen unless they are building a car that is more drivable for a second driver next year. It's yeah. It's bad. It's really bad there. So, Clansom says, where would Horner go if Max left? I was thinking about this. Lovely image for you now. In the shower this morning. Just randomly came to me again. But if Red Bull lose Max, do they get rid of Horner as well? Because if he is your be-all and end-all as a driver, how can Christian Horner stand there with a straight face and say, yes, I'm doing a great job, because this guy who is keeping this team afloat at the moment has walked out the door? You've lost your number one driver, the guy you've put all your eggs are in the Max Verstappen basket. If he walks out the door, you've really screwed it as a team boss. So there you go. It's just a thought. I'm not suggesting that would happen. Just if you're the big bosses at Red Bull, I'm not talking Marco, I'm talking higher up than that. And you look at it and say, well, hang on a minute, Christian, you're running this team. We've lost Adrian Newey. We've lost all these other people. You've now lost us Max Verstappen, the one driver who was delivering something for us. Why should we keep you? I think it's a fair question, and we've seen it before. But although Red Bull are very keen to be clear that this isn't a Ferrari 2004 situation that's going on where the team's starting to sort of fall apart and people are leaving, it does bear so many similarities to particularly the end of 2006 with Schumacher going, and then with Braun going around that time, and Todd as well. It does have that same vibe to it. I don't care what Red Bull brief people with, that genuinely is how it feels. And if they lose Verstappen, which is their Schumacher, let's face it, they're in big trouble. Big trouble. But then again, as I keep saying, they might build a more drivable car next year, as they might be able to get a couple of drivers, a Leclerc or a Russell or somebody that can deliver in a car and do enough for them. But that's a hell of a name to lose. Cole like Sonny Hayes wants to know who my favourite driver is. Of all time, it's Michael Schumacher. Kaori says Horner in the shower. Wow, Sean. Horner lost 7 was fine. Yeah, but I think I've seen an argument before, and it's a very fair point. But Seb had Ricciardo performing next to him. Before that, he had Webber performing next to him. Verstappen doesn't have anybody else because the car, there will have been a natural lean towards Sebastian Vettel with him being the number one driver. But the entire team wasn't built around Seb Vettel. Other drivers were performing in that second car, whereas it very much feels like Max Verstappen is the focus at Red Bull, either intentionally or unintentionally. That's how it's ended up. So if you've done that and put your eggs in that basket, you know, he's not got a Webber or a Ricciardo up there with him picking up wins when he slips up or picking up podiums. Or actually in the case, I know it was Verstappen's first full season in the car or whatever, but he beat him once, didn't he? Did Ricciardo. He also beat Vettel at Red Bull. So they had a second driver who was delivering, whereas now they don't. And the trouble is, who delivers in that car? You're all going to say Alonso or Hamilton or whoever, but I think you would need to clone Verstappen to get the best out of that second car, frankly. I don't think anybody can do it, so yeah. Oh, it's not Max's fault, okay? I'd never say it was Max's fault at all. It's the team's call. It is Max's fault. He's massively talented and insanely quick because that's what he works hard to be, but it's not a negative, is it, I suppose, but a couple more questions then we'll call it for today. Like I said, switch the team names of Racing Bulls and Red Bull, and the brand still looks respectable, says Red Raven. Get Max in a Racing Bulls alongside Hadjar. There you go. The car's not designed for any other driver on the grid, says Clansom. I think to a lesser extent as well. Yeah, definitely to a lesser extent, but you could make the argument for Hamilton at Mercedes. I don't think they lent completely towards him. But you'd understand why maybe the car suited him more than a Bottas. Bottas did a good job, by the way. But, you know, Schumacher was another one at Ferrari. Alonso at Renault. You back your best driver. But then if you back your best driver, you also back yourself into a corner if that driver leaves. So it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. I'm just repeating myself on it. But if you've got Verstappen in that car, you work with Verstappen. That's your priority. He struggled today for varying reasons. Used soft tyres on his first flying lap and then getting the issue with Gasly on the final run. He wasn't in the mix for pole on that final run from what I could see on the timing. So he wasn't a threat to McLaren, but he's down in 7th today. But he's still in this title hunt. It's becoming a long shot and getting longer every race, but he's still in this title hunt. So to even be in it is quite impressive. So if Red Bull were out of options, Carlos Sainz would be a terrible shout. A race winner who didn't ruin himself alongside Max in a Minardi, says Fudd. They had the chance to sign Carlos. They didn't want him, did they? Could have got him for free, which is still baffling. And I don't, if you've been here before, you know what I'm going to say. I don't want to see in chat, oh yeah, but Carlos Sainz Sr. and Verstappen Sr. don't get on. Well, if Verstappen Sr. and Carlos Sainz Sr. don't get on, then they can be kicked out of the garage and told to grow up, can't they? It's about their sons, not the fathers. So if those two drivers can get on and they work well together, then who cares whether the drivers get on or not, or the dads get on or not? Grow up. Simple as that. Yeah. Nothing to add. I just look at what a lot of you saying a few similar things to me and some other points. So I don't want to get into that too much more than I already have. So Max is gone. No looking back. He's wearing Merc underwear already, says Kevin. Oh, Kevin. You ask why you're not banned, Kevin. That's why, because you make me laugh. Sometimes at you and sometimes with you. There you go. Any more questions then? If not, I'm going to wrap it up for today because it's getting a bit warm. A lot of people starting to disappear now, so don't want to just sit here with a handful of you talking nonsense all afternoon. I'm sure some of you would love it, but we don't be too much longer with this, really. A few delays as well today with the F2 stuff going on, so... but yeah. I'll tell you what, actually, no, let's forget that. Forget that. Predictions. Super quickly, what are your predictions? You can give me a top 3. You can give me just a winner. You can give me who you think is going to make the most places up. That's absolutely fine. Whilst you quickly get the predictions in, I'm going to have a quick sip of drink before I start choking. I'll be back with you for the final 3 or 4 minutes of the stream, and then we'll call it for today. Pooch is fine. CJT print. He is a bit hot at the minute again. He doesn't like the heat. I don't think dogs generally like the heat, do they? But he'll be all right. I bought very quickly. I bit the bullet and bought a portable aircon unit, which has really made a difference downstairs for him. So he's happy with that. It's expensive to run. It was expensive to buy, and my God, is it loud? But oh, it's the best thing I've ever bought in my life. Let's see. So Kevin says Lando, Piastri and Chuck for top 3 tomorrow. CPB is going with Norris, Piastri and Leclerc. Clansom's gone Norris, Leclerc and Hamilton. Red Raven says I am predicting Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, but I want Norris, Hamilton, Lawson, says Red Raven. I'm predicting, so I said Verstappen on Thursday. I will have to keep that from a score, but looking at it today, I think I'm predicting Norris for the win. I think Piastri second, and Verstappen could come through to third, but I'm going to go with something interesting for a change, and let's go with Leclerc. I know it's a variation of the top 3, but at least it's not me just sticking Verstappen there. I want Verstappen win, Piastri second, and then a nice surprise Bortoletto or Lawson or something like that in third. It'd be nice to have a Ferrari up there, but I've given up on them this season. On that note, by the way, probably a conversation for a video or a short at some point, but I think Ferrari should just can off this year now and focus on next season, because that's going to be their best shot at making the leap forward they need to make to keep the Italian media happy, because that seems to be the only thing that matters for some reason, or at least they seem to think that anyway, but there you go. That's a different one for a different day. Fudd says Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Lewis will get a penalty for spinning Albon out of the points, says Fudd again. I think I'd already read that one, but we'll do it again. Piastri first and some other bloke second and third, says CJT. Fair enough. Pascal says Sauber should score points. Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton first, Ferrari podium. CJT is throwing logs on the fire. Kaori says Norris, Leclerc and Hamilton. I want Lance to win so we can see Sean explode. Will Ferrari ever win again, says William? It doesn't feel like it. They will eventually. They will win again. They always do. But we're certainly in a lull again, aren't we? And Clansom says Norris, 5-second penalty. Lewis is 4.8 behind. Retribution. Says Clansom. There you go. Let's wrap it up there for today then. Thank you so much for your company this afternoon, UK time. I don't know what it is where you are in the world. Please do drop a like before you go. Would be massively appreciated. We did get over 100, so that's fantastic. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new as well. Lots to come this season. I will be live tomorrow from 1:30 p.m. BST, I believe, for the race watch along. There'll be a video. We're not sure what yet, but from Thomas on Sunday. I'll explain about that tomorrow. On Monday, sorry, I'll explain about that tomorrow. Missed that today. Then there'll be some shorts throughout the week. I'll be back with a preview on Thursday, and of course, we're live again for the British Grand Prix weekend. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.